Hey, you did it.
Thank you, Z. Thank you for saving the world. Okay.
Thank you for following simple instructions. Wow, you did it. But thank you.
Just another day of my life.
Okay. Thank you for saving the world. So, guys, we're gonna be talking.
Thank you.
Squad 100, and then Z is probably gonna do an interview with somebody about Morby method. Mine is on the thing. Okay. So yes, so we're going to be talking about Morby method, and Z is probably going to do that section, but everybody's allowed to participate. So for now, while we wait for Courtney, she's going to be here at 7. That's what she said. Let's do a quick introduction. Just say your name, your state, and what you're looking for. Like 1 minute, if you can, just so we can do this quickly, because at 6:30, Craig is gonna go over sober living. Okay. So the first one on my screen is Anthony Collada. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Anthony Collada. I'm up in New Hampshire. I've been on here a couple times. Right now, I've been promoting the Alpha Gator funding thing, which is a hard money lender option that Pace started up through Alpha Funding, a company that does hard money loans for real estate investors and stuff like that. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat if anyone's interested, and you can check it out. I'd appreciate any activity on that, especially some of you higher volume people. You might want to spread some love out to some different hard money lenders. So let me get that link. I'll drop it in there, and then I'll turn it over to the next guy. It's about 10 to 12. It varies depending. They do fix and flip loans, DSCR loans, new construction loans, anything real estate rental related. They don't do specialty businesses like bowling alleys and stuff like that, but so anything
10 to 12%, right?
It's a variable. It depends on your credit. It can be a little higher. It can be a little lower. Also, if you're doing high volume, it could be a little lower. Some of the points are usually around two points per loan.
Okay, and then how much do you fund? Do you go up to 100%, or you're 90 or 50 or 75, 80?
Right. For newer investors who don't have a lot of experience, they're doing about 80-20. For people with higher levels of experience and credibility, they'll go higher.
Okay.
So it all depends on the kind of numbers and experience you have within the market you're working.
What if you have zero experience? Would they lend it to you?
Oh yeah, they'll lend a zero experience, but again, the interest rates will be a little higher. They're probably going to check the deal a little more thoroughly to make sure the deal is actually a legit deal. But yeah, they will still do no experience loans. There's the link for people in the chat.
Okay, good.
How long does it take to get funding?
They move pretty quickly. It could take up to about 24 hours to get a call back from their the people going over the loan, and then up to a couple weeks would be some of the quicker loans, up to a month, but definitely less than a month for your fix and flips and things like that, for people who want to move a little quicker. They also offer pre-approval, so you can have proof of funds if you need that sort of a thing. So yeah, for the people who are like just want some proof of funds to show that, yeah, I have the money, they will get you a pre-approval up to a certain amount for your situation, and then you can go that route. But most of their loans, they're saying they can get them done definitely within 30 days, usually within a couple weeks, for people who need the money a little quicker.
Well, for draws and stuff like that, are you guys giving draws up front, or?
For the construction stuff, they do draws at the back end. So once the specific work is done, then they'll pay it out. That's to prevent you, they say that's to prevent you from, taking the draw and then buying a nice car off of it and then not doing the work. So they want to see the work done. So if you got a roof that needs repaired, once the roof's repaired, then they'll pay out the cash on that.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Next, we have Nick. Nick, go ahead.
Hey guys, New Hampshire realtor doing fix and flips and just hired an acquisition manager. And so we're looking for primarily private money now. So that's my business. If anyone needs help running comps in Maine or New Hampshire, I have the MLS access for that. Underwriting any type of deal, particularly fix and
I
flip.
did my spiel. That was quick. But now I'm just listening.
And multifamily, large multifamilies I can help out with. And I'm located in
Yeah, I'll do my own.
Rochester, New Hampshire.
All right. Awesome. Next, we have Queen of New England, Suzanne Sharkey. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Suzanne. So Lacey, I was saying we can just do new people that we don't know. And then people with some really cool updates, because we do kind of have a jam-packed schedule tonight. So people who I've never met, I'd love to hear from them.
Yeah.
And if you've been around a while, put something in the side chat so people know who you are. But like, yeah, if you've been around for a while, definitely, unless there's something new, no need to do intros here.
Okay. Or you can just do 1 minute, but because this way we'll always remember who you are, your name, and where you're from. But okay, so who is new here today? Let me turn this off. Who we have? We have who's, you know what? I can't see that. Let's go to Jimmy for the new.
So Lisa, you can use the people with their hands raised, and then I'll call people out in the side chat who are new.
Okay. All right, guys, raise your hands if you are new. And introduce yourselves. Just say, your name, your state, and what you're looking for. Super quick, like 1 minute. Because like they said, we have a pretty busy schedule today. So who's new? Did anybody raise their hands?
Call out Alexander Grant.
Oh, okay. Who did you say?
Alex Grant.
Okay.
He just went to a deal for us down in Florida.
Alex, I don't see.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. So brand new to Subto student. I'm 5 days into the course. Brand new to real estate. Like Ari said, just went down and looked at a property for them today. Took some photos. Talked to the seller. I'm based out of Florida. I am looking to relocate back to Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. And tonight, my goal is really just to absorb a bunch of knowledge and listen to all you smart people.
Good. Next, we have, I think, Emily. I'm not sure if you're new, but I'm sorry if you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, I was on last week, but I'll introduce again for those that weren't there. I'm in Northern Connecticut, long-term buy and hold investor, also do student rentals in Springfield, Mass. So just looking for deals and creative deals in those areas.
Awesome. Cool. Next, we have Janine.
Hey guys, I'm Janine. I have been in Subto for a while, and I apologize that I have not done much in it. So I'm an asshole and I'm sorry. I am under contract for a boutique hotel in the White Mountains with a few partners, and we are about 1 month out from closing at this point. It's a syndication. So if you're interested in learning more, let me know. It's up in Bartlett, New Hampshire, and it's going to be amazing. Also, I'm looking for a flip anywhere in the Merrimack Valley to Southern Maine, a 3-bedroom purchase price under $300,000, not including the renovation. So if you see that, let me know. One other buy box. I'm also looking for my next personal home, same area, but an old farmhouse. So please, if you see an old farmhouse, I know everybody and their mother wants one, but think of me. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. We will keep an eye out. And then we have Mark. I know you're not new, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Mark Oliver, living in Haverhill. I'm not new, but I am looking for a flip project for myself. Ideally, like North Shore, Mass, or Southern New Hampshire area. But honestly, whoever I'm partnering with would they're open to like New England as a whole. Like financing is already like taken care of, so that's really not a worry. I think like kind of minimum like 60-ish on what they're looking to make for profit. That's really all I have for ideas at this moment. But yeah, looking for fix and flip opportunities, North Shore, Mass, Southern New Hampshire, could be open to New England as a whole. But yeah, let me know if you come across anything.
Awesome, we will.
Thank you.
And next, who do we have? I see Ashley. I know you were here last week. You were supposed to make a call. Don't know what happened. But go ahead.
Hi. Well, I was thinking all week, what could I tell them? I tripped and fell. My phone died. I was like, no, I'll just tell them the truth. I chickened out. I was like, but I did make a call on my own the other day. And I think it went pretty well. I've talked to a few other people that have been into the Subto group and in investing in real estate that are way more advanced than me. And we basically got to fix the terms to make them more beneficial to my side. But other than that, I am really excited to get started. I really am. I'm just trying to absorb all of this knowledge and just make money with it. I want some properties.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad you made that call and you're still alive.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and if you need help with anything, just reach out to any of us. I think you're in Maine, right?
Yes, I'm in Southern Maine. I'm actually located in Biddeford. But I'm looking really for anywhere East Coast. So I want to get my first few properties in Maine and hopefully someday be a leader in this area. And I wouldn't mind going down all the way to Florida. But yes, I am located in Southern Maine.
Awesome. Good. So you have Z, you have Tim, you have Chelsea.
Yes.
So you should know them by now.
Yes, I do.
Alicia, I know Ed raised his hand, and then Matt Caldwell is somewhere on the second page I saw. I don't think I've met him. So
yeah, I was gonna call him next, but yeah, go ahead. So I see Ed. So Ed, let's go ahead, introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Matt.
Hi, Ed Jones. Been a Subto student for about a month now, so definitely in the learning phase, still absorbing a lot of information. Initially looking to work with different people on just generating new leads and new opportunities. Probably also will want to reach out to some folks to help on closing deals. Initially, the focus is going to be wholesaling either Subto type deals or cash deals, just to get the feet wet, so to speak. Located right now, live in Taunton, Mass, so southeastern Massachusetts, near to Rhode Island. So I'm open to this general area south of Boston into Rhode Island, and still brand new.
All right. So whatever you need help with, just reach out to any of us. Okay.
Okay.
For the Boston area, we have Jonathan Fothergill and Jonathan Santiago. They are the leaders for the Boston area. So just if you need help with anything, just reach out to them.
Yep, I spoke to John a couple of weeks back at one of the Salisbury meetup on Salisbury Beach.
Awesome. Next we have Mary. Hey, Mary.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone again. Just had a win for the week. We closed on the fund of funds at Vina, the 432 units in Phoenix. So we just closed yesterday. So just an update. It's my first deal in real estate, so it's really exciting.
Cool. All right, you'll talk to us about that later then.
Sure.
All right, so I'm sorry, say that again. You are in where? Before you said
I am in New York.
New York. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And what do you need? I know you just closed a deal, but
It's my first one, so I'm just getting my feet wet, so I'm ready to get going. So, yeah.
awesome. All right, Matt, I am so sorry. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Matt Caldwell. Okay.
Hey guys, you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm in Oakland, Maine. It's kind of about a half hour or so north of Augusta, central Maine, and been a couple months now, and I've got one property that we are hopefully closing on in the next few weeks. It's a 7 unit that I got from spending a little time with Z down in Portland, and following up with this guy about a dozen times afterwards. So, yeah, I kind of originally saw myself as doing a lot of just buy and hold. And I definitely still want to do that, but as things kind of progress, I definitely would like to look at something, a flip or something. Start getting my feet wet there too. So, you hear any good leads in the Central Maine area, send them my way.
Awesome. All right, who's next? We have Adam. Hey, Adam. Pronounce your last name, sorry.
That's all right. So Lisa, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I would say, I guess still somewhat rather new, but I've met a good amount of people on here. Obviously great people, but I was raising my hand just because came across an opportunity from a commercial realtor I connected with like months before I got into Subto. So I was trying to put it out there in case anyone had interest. Happy to connect. I'm not wholesaling it or anything. It's just not really my focus right now, and I don't really have the bandwidth or probably experience for it, but it's in Salem, Mass. Well-known realty group is selling a portfolio. It is looks like kind of a pad split that they converted to 21 boarding rooms. They also have the Lafayette Hotel in Salem, which is 51 rooms that would come along with the staff, as well as like a small commercial building. This is all on the same street, so it's not like it's all spread out. The commercial property is a convenience store and a small laundromat. So the realtor did tell me, they don't need the money. They're open to seller financing. It's still kind of hush hush. The realtors worked with this family for years, to the point where it's not even public yet, because they don't want to scare off the tenants or the hotel staff yet. But she said if anyone or I had anyone who was interested, I'm happy to connect them, and she's happy to do like a sit down, bring you to the properties, whatever. They're real particular about who they're letting in on that.
Okay.
So wanted to put it out there to the group. It's
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Janine posted, and I know you're driving, so you guys should connect after. She's interested.
Okay. Yeah. Right now, I can definitely do that and put you in touch with her. She emailed me about it like maybe a week ago. So.
Okay, I'll shoot you a message. Thank you.
All right, you got it.
All right, who's next? Let's go with Kevin. I haven't seen Kevin in a while. Kevin Kozak. Go ahead, reintroduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? It's been a while. Kevin Kozak. I live in Central Connecticut, and I'm primarily investing in Central Ohio. So I have a business partner out there. We do fix and flips. We have some rentals all the way from single families to mid-sized apartment complexes. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'd say my strong suits are underwriting and capital raising. So if you need help with either of those things, happy to try and assist.
Awesome. And next we have Scenario. I haven't seen Scenario in a while. Scenario, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
I've been busy. Everybody been busy, but yeah. So I get a chance to jump on here and say what's up to everybody. But yeah, I'm good. I'm just here, just hustling. I'm still doing my, calls, to reach out to the, homeowners. But, I just gotta, do my follow-ups. That's pretty much it. But go over my list. But yeah, I just gotta do my follow-ups. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Keep working.
Yeah.
And we have, I saw Jill Coate. Not sure I heard from you before. Jill, go ahead and introduce yourself.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I don't know. Jill Code, is that you?
No, sorry.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't recognize that name, so you got the spotlight.
Yeah, go ahead and introduce
Okay,
yourself.
great. Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Doherty. I'm based in the Boston area. We're focused on Vermont, actually, and we've got 3 projects that we're surprised that both the owners are open to seller financing. And we're in over our heads. We're well capitalized, and we actually have a property manager that we trust up there. But it's going from concept to execution is going to be the challenge. So I'm really looking for some help, and that's why I joined this call. And also, we are looking to both combine seller finance, creative finance with other types of capital raise. And we've got a lot of options there, but really, again, don't know what's the best to combine with something like seller financing or creative financing. Hopefully that gives a little bit of context of why I'm on this call. And if I miss anything that's important or relative, I can definitely share. Just didn't want to take up too much time.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, whatever you need, just post it on Discord. Reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to help.
And I'm sorry, and I'm just like I don't know if I'm old or not tech savvy. I don't know much about Discord, so if there's a learning curve on that, or if it's easy, maybe a point in the right direction would be helpful, and I'd be happy to send share everything there.
All right. You're in Boston, so if you go on Discord, you'll find a cheat sheet. Will help you. But you said you're not that savvy, so but
like what do I do? Do I look for Subto New England on Discord?
yeah, and then you will find a cheat sheet there. It will guide you. We'll have resources. It will guide you through the Discord. Tim uploaded a video there on how to navigate through Discord.
Okay.
So are you on Discord yet?
I think so. But yeah. So I did it for the art application there, the AI art application. So I know I have it, but I haven't been using it regularly.
Reach out to me. I'll walk you through how to use Discord, because it's certainly an acquired taste. It's great when you can use it, but it takes a little bit of tech know-how to kind of get yourself familiarized and use it to the fullest potential. So I'll send you my number and then reach out.
Thanks so much. I appreciate everybody.
All right, let's go to one more person. Palm, we haven't seen her in a while. So
just
Palm,
real quick, sorry, he said he's doing projects in Vermont. I just dropped my Calendly in there. If you want to reach out to me, I'm in Vermont and would love to help you out.
Awesome.
Was that Shane?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hey, Palm.
Hi guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So I'm cooking dinner right now. Sorry about that. I am Palm. I'm from the Cape. 2 M's. I am partners with Anthony McTizick, the OG of Subto New England. And we just started doing pay-per-click leads, which is great, from Bateman. And yeah, if you guys need help, I'm really good at underwriting a deal and structuring a deal. If you guys need help with that, but not multifamilies, just single families, I believe. If you guys need help with that, I am here at your disposal.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming. So now let's go to Greg. He is.
So Lisa, do you mind if I say 2 things really fast?
I do. But go ahead.
I promise it'll be under 1 minute. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for participating and continuing to participate in the fundraiser. I think we're at like $6,000 for Subto New England, which is just bonkers to me. So that's huge. I appreciate everyone that's participated. And I think it's going to be really cool when we write that check. So thank you for that. The second thing, because I'm seeing all over Facebook stuff about this, is that especially if you're newer, I think one problem that we run into a lot, especially if you've been in longer, is people will come to you for help on stuff. And everyone here really wants to help. It's like, that's what this whole thing is built on. So, but what ends up happening is if you've been in here a while and you know what you're doing, you're going to get a ton of calls, and we want to be able to take them. But all of us, like, the only way people get paid in real estate is when something closes. So when you're working with someone or when you're asking someone for advice or help, be very upfront about what you're asking of them and what you are willing to give in return for that help. And sometimes they'll say, you know, hey, no worries, this was an easy one, like all yours kind of thing. But at least have that conversation and go into that conversation asking for advice with the intention that there's going to be some value exchange, whether it's monetary, JVing on a deal, some kind of equity split, whatever it is. Don't be appreciative of the time you're getting, because again, like, no one's getting paid by the hour, right? We only make money when we're able to do deals. So it's important, like, do deals together, absolutely. But it's an exchange.
Okay.
So make sure you're respectful of everyone's time there.
Okay. Greg, do you mind waiting just a couple more minutes? Suzanne said she only has 2% and she wants to talk about the Squad 100. So
Squad 100. Craig, thank you for coming tonight. I will watch you on the replay. For everybody else that's here, sorry. We're doing something called Squad 100. So if you are in Discord, if you got my emails, then you know what that's about, the Andover takeover. So the deal is being provided by Z. It's a double, triple digit flip. So a $200,000 profit spread, hopefully. And there's a budget of about $100,000. The goal is to spend as much of that $100,000 on Subto New England while staying within the confines of the flip, right? So we have to be financially responsible, but at the same time too, like, we can all make money together, and we're trying to demonstrate what Squad Up looks like, right? So you can work together with your friends, you can make money together with your friends. As Ari said, let's work together, let's be considerate of each other, and let's have some fun. So this weekend I'm doing the demo, and I'm usually here every other day, if not every day. Address is 10 Enfield in Andover. You can call me. My number is listed 732-351-3700. I'm still at 2%. Chill your butt. And it's going to be a really good time. At the end of the day, it's a challenge that we thought of because we had so many Subto students already involved on the deal. And I know that when I first started doing a flip, it's very overwhelming to make all the decisions on your own. So it's so much fun when we can, we have more together. So let's act like it, right? And at the same time too, if you've never seen a flip, if you've never been exposed to one, if you've never seen one behind the scenes, if you're too afraid to ask, blah, 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 I'm just going to give it to you. So you can copy all our spreadsheets, you can follow along, you can see some of the decisions that are made, the thought process behind it, how much we spend on things, how much things actually cost. I mean, in Maine, they do like weird monopoly money, but here we do some real money in Massachusetts. But yeah, so I invite you to participate and come along. We have some people that are going to do one-off things for us, like help us pick paint color, help us pick a design, help us make decisions like, do I spend money on a deck or do I spend money on a garage sort of deal? So yeah, pay attention to Discord. Discord is our main hub of communication. If you are not there, then you're not in our main hub of communication. So I understand Discord is an acquired taste, but that's it. Google how to use Discord. There's lots of stuff out there. It's the most used chatting platform, period. So use it, learn it. It's a great tool. That's all I can think of. Send me questions. 1%. Bye.
All right. Greg?
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Craig Herman. I'm an architect by trade and got into real estate investing back in 2018, right before COVID, at the end of 2018. Right before COVID, and then have been in the Subto community since May. What I do is I invest into single-family homes, large single-family homes for sober living. I work with a national organization that rents, they've got, they set up what are called charters. They're associated with the national organization, but there's no direct responsibility from the national organization when it comes to the single family homes. But what we do is I purchase these single family homes and I get investors involved. So I set up an LLC as a limited partnership. And what ends up happening is the investors put up the money to purchase the properties. And then I will be the general partner of the LLC and I will manage the asset for them. So that is where they become truly passive investors into the LLC. And so the way it normally works is I know what their criterias are. And actually, Celicia, if you wanted to, if I could share the screen, I could pull up some information for everybody to show.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see if you. Oh, okay. I'm not the host. Z is. Z, can you allow him to share?
Yeah, it should be all set.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So can everybody see this screen right here with this document up?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll even try to zoom in a little bit more so people can see it. Okay, so what we do is we purchase single family homes and lease them through this nonprofit organization for sober living. This is deep and dear to my heart. I personally have got 23 years of sobriety and found out through my process of finding a higher power and getting sober that my love for architecture, construction, and design is a way that I could serve others. One, through my design process, but also through helping those in recovery find safe, comfortable living environments. And so the way this works is that we search for single family homes in certain areas that I have connections with the organization and see some of the hard criteria for it. 6 beds, normally 2 with 2 beds and 2 with 1 bed. So a minimum of 6 beds, 2 baths, 1,700 square feet, must be on public water, no HOAs, usually within a mile of public transportation, and then some of the A to B, C+ classes. We really need to be in neighborhoods where they're going to feel safe and not able to be persuaded to go out and raise some hell and get in trouble. So when I'm looking for properties, I need a lot of pictures and we got to understand a bunch of the systems. And most of them, it's now the process of looking into foreclosures. Subto seller finance is the main reason that I joined the Subto community, because in the areas where we live up here in New England, and then some of the other locations that I'm researching now, the price of housing is really high. And so there's a certain way that they are allowed to do their rental cost is it's really hard for us to find properties. So we're getting into larger single family homes. The target market areas that I'm working in now are Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Mobile, Dauphine. We're looking in Florida, but I haven't done much work there. Portland. Z, I get some opportunities. If you're interested and can find some single family homes for me up there, I'd definitely be interested. I'm working with Celeste Samante on a property in Springfield right now. So she would probably be doing with me the very first of the sober houses with this particular organization. And just for disclosure reasons, I've been asked not to use the organization's name since we're on a live stream right now. And then we're also recording this because I don't want to misrepresent or say anything incorrectly. So if you are interested in learning more about this organization, you can reach out to me and we can see what we could do. But then these are some of the other locations. I'm strongly looking in North Carolina, and then in South Carolina, where I have 2 existing properties, are in Sumter in Columbia. And so one scenario that I have right now is down in Montgomery, Alabama. I was introduced, and now I can't even remember how I met them, but there were 2 gentlemen from the Subto community. One's in Miami, the other one's in Indiana. And they purchased a property in Montgomery, Alabama, and it was abandoned. They got a hard money loan to renovate it, and they were going to do a pad split. And so they had their exit strategy all in place and ready to crank out on this project, and we're going to do a fabulous job with it. But then they found out that pad split doesn't exist in Montgomery. So their path fell through for their exit strategy, and they reached out to me, and I was able to then coordinate with the organization, find their representative in Montgomery. They went to look at the house. They said, yes, if this works out well and you can do these renovations, then we'll be able to work with you. And so that started my path in Montgomery. So now I also look through properties on market. And so this is just a quick opportunity to show usually what these packages are looking like and how they start off. And so this is a report from what's the Deal Check, I think is the name of the application. But I usually go through and I'll do a quick calculations and analysis and Deal Check to see if my offers would work. And they tell me what they can pay for rent. And then I'll go through and I'll do my analysis on the property, and then that would determine what my offer would be on the property. And so we started off at 150 for this property, and we ended up at 174. They've accepted my offer, and now I'm in the process of closing on this property, and then I'm now looking for investors. So this particular piece on Willow Lane is an open investment. I structure my business and the LLCs for the property similar to a syndication. And so what that allows me to do is that when I go through my calculations and I set up the equity splits for the LLC, it helps me to calculate what the returns are for what their cash investments would be. And so I normally try to shoot for a minimum on a projection of a 10-year hold for 10% on the first year. And so this particular property, there's going to be 6 people in here, and I'm looking for $61,500 to purchase the property. And I'm going to do, if people want to invest 20,500, I'd have 3 investors on here. And so this would get them an 80% equity ownership and returns between 14 and 18% annual returns. And what we do is we create this package, and it explains what we're setting up and what the offer is going to be for the investors. Is a little bit more information about the property, how the business model is set. The organization does a minimum of 2-year leases. Once they get into a property, they never want to leave. Okay, because it's so important to make sure that they've got safe, comfortable living environments for the members of their charter, that they will do whatever they can to hold on to a property. So sometimes if what's actually happening with this particular property right here, there's a woman's house, and that owner is selling their property. Now they've displaced the women that are now living in that house. And so I already know what they're going to pay for rent, and the name of the house. They do women's houses, men's houses, women with children, and men with children. So this particular property, this is a little bit of explanation about the organization. The fact that they're a national nonprofit organization, they've got Supreme Court precedents which protects them under the Fair Housing Act, which means that individuals with the same disability can live together in a single family home as they're recovering from their disabilities. And so that's why it's extremely important that they follow their manual and are protecting each other. If somebody drinks, somebody does drugs, they kick them out of the house automatically. They do not have to follow the standard tenant laws, tenant landlord laws per the state because of the Fair Housing Act. And so they police themselves with a member of the organization who acts kind of like like a house sponsor or a social worker for the house. So they're responsible for it all when it comes to members coming into the house, but then I'm responsible for maintaining the property and communicating rent payments for the on the each property. So this is a little explanation about the organization and what they do and how they do it. Acquisition summary, I prepared this document so they can see where the money is going and what we need it for. Asking price was 183, we're getting it for 174. Down payments, interest rates are high and my closing costs are high, but the above average returns on the rent make this property and this deal function really well. So they're paying $2,250 a month in rent. And I think single family homes renting of this size in Montgomery, they might get $1,500 a month in rent if it's just a standard single family home. And so what happens is that the organization rents by the person. So the person pays in each week their money for living in the house, and then they pay all the bills. They cover all the bills, all the utilities. I'm responsible for insurance, real estate tax, and then I have a property management fee in here, and then we put in funds for reserves on maintenance and repairs. So our total expenses are down below 50%. Which is uncommon if you were to look at multifamily rental. So this works out really well. And right now, the 2 properties that I own personally in Subto, Carolina, this is right around where I'm at with my expenses, and I'm cash flowing 10 to 15% each month on my on the income and what I pay for PITI. These are my projections for a 10-year hold. So we say that we're going to hold on to these properties for 10 years. If we can do a refinance in between there to get the interest rates down, then we'll take the principal back. We pay that off first, and then we're doing a bunch of, and then we're splitting profits on that. But eventually, after 10 years, we do a cash out refinance where we'd refinance everything. We'd cash everybody out who's invested. They make their profit. And then I would hold on to the property long term. And this is where I would be building up my my family's legacy ownership for these homes. So yeah, these are the cash on cash returns that we're averaging over the length of the 10-year period. What we're calculating 3% compounded interest on the projection of the sale. And so the total equity would be right here at 120. The return of the capital goes to 61,000, goes back to the investors. And then we'd be splitting the profits at an 80-20 split. That gets us an internal rate of return at 16% on the project. So that's within the business after the sale. Actually, within the business itself, the length of the period of the hold. These are the final numbers. So the cash on cash return is that 12.4 for the length of the 10 years. And then the 16% is 16%, if I understand correctly. Actually, I think the cash on cash return covers the fees. But then when you get into the internal rate of return, all the fees that have been paid off, that is where that number of 16% comes into play. And then the annual return is after the sale, which gets us up to that 20%. And so this process, I learned about syndications with Michael Blanc. I'm not sure if anybody's followed him before, but he does apartment building syndications and he has an educational platform. And he was very instrumental in me getting into real estate. My first project was a large commercial building in Manchester, New Hampshire, but it actually went south and I was able to get out of it and get my money back, made a little bit of profit, and that's the money that I took to invest into these sober living. This process is completely different than what most local operators are doing. And that's exactly what Pace has got in the vault library. And I forget the gentleman's name, but this is not the same setup for that. I think what is similar is the fact that Pace is working with these folks and these other operators. Pace is completely hands off. So he owns the property and he's leasing them to these operators. That is kind of similar to what we're doing. And so the way it's working now in New England, the organization, so back in the 80s, Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy created a federal grant that's available to each state for sober living, housing, and recovery support. Each state then can apply for that grant. And then the organization that I work with works with the particular state and says, we've got a proven track record and a business model that's been in place for over 40 years. we'd like to help you provide sober living facilities. And so they kind of like seed what's called their charters. So if they find a house that they can rent, then the organization will seed them money to start up that charter. And but they eventually have to pay it all back. So the members of the house, so that's the point that I'm getting to, is that most local sober living organizations might get money from the state to help pay for the business and how to run the business, which could make it more cost effective for the members living in that house. But this particular organization has it set up that they have got to pay their own way to live in the house. And they get to pay in each week. The house is run like a little democracy. So they have meetings every week and they follow a manual. Any charter within three or more charters within 100 miles becomes a chapter. All the charters in a state becomes an association. And then every state and every country is part of the World Council. So Labor Day weekend, I think it's coming up in a couple of weeks, they do their International Council conference down in DC. Pretty sure it's in DC this year. But they've got 5 different countries where they've got charters, and pretty much every state has charters in them, but not every state has the grants for the funding from the state. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to serve others. As I mentioned, the folks down in Montgomery, these 2 guys bought this property. They're doing it as a burr, but I'm coming to them with an exit strategy. They don't want to be landlords. So I'm saying I'll do it for 20% equity ownership. I'm the controlling member of the LLC. They'll be getting mailbox money, and I'll be working directly with the charter and managing the property and the LLC and doing all of the annual reports, profit and loss statements, quarterlies, and taxes and everything. So that's how one of them is working down in Montgomery, and the one in Springfield. This is a property that Celeste already owns. And she's been struggling getting Airbnbs in there, and she was doing some midterm stuff. So she presented the property to me. I went to the organization with it. They told us what they could pay per month per rent, and we calculated the numbers, and she saw what the returns were and said, let's move forward with this. So now Celeste and I are going to be partnering on this particular property. She'll just, she's invested the property itself, and we'll be making returns each month. And she won't have to do a thing and worry about it. She'll just be getting mailbox money through this process. So if people are interested to get involved, if you find a property that meets these criterias and you do it as I haven't worked with a Subto yet, an actual Subto deal, but I'm eager to learn about it. I'm working with Marcia and Mario. We're looking at foreclosures and how to do it with foreclosures. So we're still learning about these other opportunities on how to do these properties. But right now, that's the process that I'm working on. I was coached by a gentleman who has got over 50 of these properties throughout the country. And he's got a very successful investment business. And I just thought it was an opportunity for me to give back and serve others and use my skills as an architect to provide safe, comfortable living environments for people in recovery. So that's me and what we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That was great. Do you guys have any questions for Craig? Who has questions? I have a few. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah, Craig, I was just curious, what's the $61,000 for? What's that capital for in that particular deal you were discussing?
That's to purchase the property. So
okay, for closing cost, down payment.
Yep.
Okay.
And Craig, the cities that you have listed, are they, the only cities that you will look at, or you can be other cities as long as it's in the same state?
So I'm willing to look at other cities, but those are where I've got existing relationships with the organization. Because what ends up happening is specifically they need to be able to walk the property before they can commit and say this is going to work for us or not. They need to ride through the neighborhood, see if it's safe. They got to look and see if there's public transportation nearby and some amenities nearby. And then they'll go into a house and they say, you know what, this thing's really large. There's only 3 bedrooms. Can we turn the dining room into a bedroom? Is there an extra space? Is there like a back sunroom that can be transferred into a bedroom? They would look at that to see how many beds they could fit people comfortably in there. And once they feel they can do it, then they would give us their rent that they could pay each month. And that's when I do my analysis to see what I can put in for an offer.
And Craig, do these houses have to be, I'm not sure if you said it, but do they have to be in good shape, or are you guys willing to fix up? Let's say if it's a gutted property, are you guys willing to take that on, or only properties that are in, an okay shape?
Yeah, they are definitely, they're willing to, if it's in a good neighborhood and it's not going to take too long to do any type of rehab, they can definitely wait until the rehab is completed. So the property in Montgomery that I'm doing with a couple other guys from Subto, they bought it in July and it was an abandoned property. And right now they're having issues with the getting the power turned on. It's crazy down there. Something about the electricity, somebody getting killed when the abandoned house when power got back on. Anyway, it's taken us about a month to get an electrical contractor in there to get the permit, right? So the organization knows that it's going to take a little time. So we spread out the length and the start of our lease to accommodate for that time. But he's been going by and he's liked the way the property's looking and what's happening, and they're very excited. So they sometimes can't see, what's available to them, but with my experience as an architect, I'm looking for dumps. And so my goal, my 10-year goal would be to be designing and building, renovating my own single-family homes for sober living with this organization. So that's where I'm hoping that I'd be transitioning out of my W-2 job, which is my own business, but doing that design work for my own projects.
Not sure if you mentioned it. Do those properties have to have parking space, or is not a parking space? Is parking space a requirement?
Yeah, definitely some off-street parking. Not everybody's going to have a car, but they'll want at least a driveway to get a couple of the cars off the streets. And they would tell us too if there's enough parking or not when they looked at the property.
All right. Anybody else has questions? Okay, I have one more. Sorry. So you mentioned that you have to get investors involved to, finance these properties.
Mhm.
How quickly do you find them? Do you have a set of investors in mind, or do you know who to go to, or you just put it out there and then whoever wants to get in that deal goes in? I mean, do you have your pool of investors that you go to?
Yeah, so this is not, this wouldn't be like a syndication for an apartment building, right? So I'm not looking for accredited folks, but it's more about friends and families right now. So I'm building relationships with other investors and other communities of folks. But right now I've got a handful of friends and colleagues that I'm working with and communicating with. And but I'm trying to see if even if the Subto community, this is something that people are interested in and wanting to get involved with. I don't know much about the Gator lending side of Subto, or if that would be a possibility. Because I think from what I understand, that's more of a short term, where these are long-term holds that we're looking at with a larger cash out at the end of the 10 years. So
Right.
I am looking for investors and willing to meet people and see if there are people interested in it.
I probably know the answer to this, but what if you can't find an investor to fund your deal?
If that's the case, then if I lose a property that I've got under contract because I can't get the financing in place, then I lose it. But I usually can get verbals from people, folks that are saying, yeah, if that's an example of what your returns are going to be at a minimum of 20,000, I could probably pull that out, right? So things have been a little bit tighter now because of the way the market is, and people don't want to pull money out of their investments, the cash, but others are definitely interested into it. So yeah, I got a couple of folks that are already looking at this one. Nobody's given me a solid yet, but I got a few more weeks before I have to close on it.
All right, because before you explained, I was under the impression that this company that you work with, they were going to be the ones funding, the deal. But okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And so, guys, do you have any other questions? Santiago has a question.
What up, my man, Craig?
How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Thank you.
So I was just like half listening when I was doing some stuff around the house. Did you mention, and you've been to the Manchester flip that I have going on right now? Did you mention that the sober living is up in that area as well, or no?
So the organization and my contact, he covers the whole Northeast territory, and they would like to do some in Manchester, but they need to focus on Massachusetts because of the fact that they want to be able to add charters to Massachusetts where they've got existing charters in Rhode Island, right? So when we first started talking about it, we were talking about Attleboro, Seekonk, because they've got properties, they got charters existing in Providence, North Providence, and Pawtucket right now. So that puts them in that circle radius of about 100 miles by going up to Springfield. But then I was told that they do have two very solid charters up in Portland. And they feel like the group that's up there could support another Oxford house. That's why Portland is one of the areas that they would like to see another house if they could do it up there.
I mean, maybe it's worth you making another drive. I mean, if they can drive all the way up to make it all the way up to Portland, I don't see any reason why they couldn't I mean, this house is bigger than it appears. It has 4 bedrooms and plus 2 additional bonus rooms with low ceilings. So I don't know. Maybe you and I can have a side conversation about that.
Okay.
Yes, Z, all the way up to Portland, bro.
All right, any other questions? So, Greg, you mentioned that you're looking in sub twos, but you also mentioned that you need investors. So, let's say I got a property sub 2, but there's no equity, but it fits your criteria. Are you willing to buy that? I mean, take it sub 2, but even though there's no equity, I mean, how are you gonna be okay with that? I mean, how are you gonna take it? That's pretty much the question.
Well, it comes down to the idea that I've got to be able to make sure what they can pay in rent. Puts a cash flow back into the investor's hands. So if you found a property that was going to be a sub 2 deal, one, since I've not done a sub 2 deal yet, I'd have to be very cautious about how that all works and how that all happens. But if the numbers work and it can generate the cash flow in order to pay the investors what they would put in, then yeah, we can definitely do those types of properties. And that's why I'm trying to learn more about that whole sub 2 process. And if we can get these properties and get some good deals for folks.
Awesome. Any other questions? So, on your list, you don't have Rhode Island. Why not?
Well,
you have Maine and you don't have Rhode Island. That's not fair.
Because as I had mentioned, they have existing charters already in Rhode Island. Okay. And so they don't actually have, Rhode Island does not have a contract, have the funding from the government to do sober living. So the charters themselves are being set up, have been in place for a while, and they would consider opening other charters in that area. But since Massachusetts just got their contract in place with the organization, they want to focus on getting some more up in Massachusetts first. And the only reason why they would go up to Portland is because they have 2 existing charters up there. If I remember correctly, I think they're women's houses, and they've been around for a while. They're very solid, and those particular charters might even have enough money in their banks in order to help seed another house up there. So they wouldn't be getting money from the state, but they'd probably be doing it amongst themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you cannot say their names because it's live stream and all that, and you don't have Rhode Island on your list. So how do I find out who is in Rhode Island? Can you share that?
So so the individual that I work with covers the whole New England, New York, and New Jersey territory. So if you had a property in Rhode Island that fits the criteria, I can reach out to them and say, does this interest you? And they would either tell us no or no, yes or no.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No other questions, guys? So I don't think I have any more questions. So I have a, well, I was working on a property in Rhode Island. I did mention that to you. It
Mhm.
has 6 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and then, but it was a big mess. So the property was not, the guy ran out of money, so he can't really afford to fix it. And it's actually upside down right now. You would not consider that, would you?
I'd have to look at the numbers and
Mhm.
see what's going on.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's a good area. I actually like the area, it's very quiet. But there is no parking space. I mean, there's the back, but you have to go through somebody else's property to go to your property. And it's like a big mess, so I don't know, but it is a big property. I think 2,500 square foot, five or 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It's really big. And the guy who bought it, it was originally 2-family, but then he couldn't grandfather it, so now he's letting it go because he can't actually afford it. But okay. So yeah, I will reach out to him, see if it's still available, and then I'll reach out to you, see if you want to take a look at it.
Sure thing. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Any other questions? No other questions. Okay. So at 8 o'clock, Z, do you have your guy ready?
He's not my guy. He's everybody's stuff too. But he said, yeah, he's comes at 8. He's in Pacific time right now.
Okay.
He said he will be on in, I don't know, a little bit.
Maybe 45 minutes.
So yeah, he'll probably be on like around 7:30 or so.
All right. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Any deal that you guys want to underwrite? I see somebody new, Ziel Silva. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Just say, your name, your state, and what you're looking for. I hope
Ziel.
I hope I said it right. But okay, while we're waiting for Ziel, if you guys have anything that you're working on, that you have questions, you need help. Is anybody working on anything, on any deal?
I can give a quick update. So next Thursday, which is the 31st, for anybody that's up in Maine or wants to come up to Maine, Courtney Giro is coming up with Rhode Island, and we're going to be going through some of the projects that we have active up here, and we'll be shooting content. If anybody wants to come and tag along, they have 5 closings on Thursday, and then probably Friday and Saturday. Probably take the next 2 days to walk all the projects that are active, ones that are closing, and ones that are pending. And I know Nick Dulac also has a property in Saco, and we also have one in Saco as well. And I know John Luca has a bunch of projects in the Lewiston, Brunswick area. So if anybody is available next week that wants to just come up and just walk these projects and get some lunch and just talk about business in general, feel free to hit me up or hit up any of the other main guys.
When is that, you said?
So all the closings are on the 31st. And then after the closings, again, the closings don't take too long. They take literally 15 minutes at the most. But after the closing, probably just go walk all the projects that we have. There's a bunch of projects that are already winding down. A couple about to close in September. I'm happy to show those finished projects. There's ones that are coming to a close this week. And then there's a bunch of other ones that have closed or will close the week after. So if anybody wants to get first world experience or firsthand experience, not first world, obviously. Firsthand experience, they're more than welcome to come and just tag along, and we just park the car at my house and we can just take one car and go.
You have a car for everybody that's going to feed everybody that's in here. What if I bring 10 people from Rhode Island?
You want 10 people, just need one Corolla. That's how we do back in the homeland.
Okay. All right. Anybody else has anything they want to share? Any updates? Any losses, any wins? Anything?
I can share a couple things. Boston. So two things. Boston is having their Subto meetup September 9th, Saturday, September 9th. We haven't added it to the Eventbrite yet. I've just been slacking on that. I'll be getting that up on Eventbrite within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you follow subtonewengland.eventbrite.com, I believe it is, you'll get notified of all of their events that are going on. That's going to be in Braintree, Massachusetts from 12 to 6 or however long it lasts. So there's that we have going on. And then I am also going to be going up to my one of my flips in Manchester, New Hampshire to paint bathrooms. I shouldn't be painting bathrooms, but I got to get this project across the finish line. So yeah, if anybody wants to come by the property, hang out, ask questions, ask how I got into the deal, anything along those lines, then you guys are more than welcome to stop by. Reach out to me directly if you want the address. Some of you already know the address, but if not, yeah, just reach out to me individually.
Awesome.
Would you be putting a shirt on? Some people are self-conscious here.
I will be wearing a t-shirt, especially since I'm going to be getting paint and dirty all around. It's hot over here, guys.
Yeah, sure. That.
All right, and guys, Courtney is here. Actually, she got here since 7 o'clock. She's one of the leaders for Rhode Island. Courtney, do you want to say something?
Hi, I'm here. I'm trying to like rearrange so I can actually have a spot to like be on Zooms and stuff. Jeremy recommended some stuff, these like LED lights and stuff. So aren't these cool?
Mm.
They like change color.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm doing the project forward thing. I don't know if anyone else is doing that, but
tell us about that.
It's pretty cool. Like basically he's starting with like the YouTube situation. He wants you to like set up your YouTube channel and then like Calendly links and then there, bring people there and have unlisted videos and stuff that you can share with people. And then this week he wants us to do an interview with our battle buddy each, and then 2 other people interview. So, and then put it up on YouTube. And if you're really shy, you could do it unlisted, but I do a lot of content, but I'm not usually like actually on camera. But I think I'm going to interview Justin this weekend about the community space, like a real interview. So that'd be cool, right?
When is that, Courtney?
I think I'm going to interview Justin about the community space.
Yeah, when are you guys going to do that?
Hopefully Saturday.
Cool.
Unless he can't, but yeah. Because I really want to record that as like, the beginning of it and just document and hear his thoughts on it. And thought that'd be an interesting interview for like my first one. Yeah, that's about it. Just working on I got a video. It's almost done of like from the Andover house from last week. It was like really long. It was like 30 minutes and I'm like trying to cut it down into like a short video. Suzanne could talk.
Yeah,
she's been dying to. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Go ahead.
She wants things, Suzanne.
In our car, so you'll just get to see the steering wheel go around and around and get freaking dizzy and probably want to throw up.
Yeah, just blur out Rupert's face. We don't want dog protection coming after her and stuff like that.
Who's got stuff in the pipeline? Who's got stuff that needs to be moved or either disposed or just moved to the next phase?
Why don't we talk about contracts we locked up this week, which is all stuff that needs to get moved anyway.
Okay, steal my thunder. Just word it differently. I got you. All right, who locked something up this week? Who had something? Actually, you know what? I like what Santi did last week. Something good this week, something bad this week. Win, loss.
Anybody?
Well, why don't we start with Silesia? I mean,
Yeah, you and Courtney, each one of you guys are the leaders there.
No wins this week for me. Let me see.
No, that's not allowed.
Well, no losses. That's what happens.
No. So even if it's not like real estate related directly, it doesn't need to be a contract. It doesn't need to be something like that. But how do you move your business forward?
Yeah, I mean, I've been having pretty good conversations with foreclosure. I've been focusing solely on foreclosure. So good conversations, no contracts yet, but yeah, good. So that's the win. So good, really good conversations. We've been texting. My son has been helping me. It's actually the only time I've been finding some consistency in my business. So I'm actually really grateful for that. He's been helping me, texting 2 hours per day, every day. Been getting a lot of messages back, a lot of replies. So good conversations, just waiting for, something to hit and then, get a contract. But yeah, so
It will.
that's the win. Yeah, that is a win for me. Because it has been a big problem for me. Actually, on everything in my life, not just, real estate wise, but my whole life. I'm not consistent. I'm bad. I'm really bad. And yeah, but lately, at least with real estate, it's I've been finding some type of consistency, at least 2 hours per day. And that has been great. Getting replies and yeah, and that's good. I'm having conversations and yeah, just waiting for the next deal. Yeah. All right. You are next on the screen, Ari.
He had me go because I gotta do something. But I think we did lock up a deal. This older lady that we've been talking to for a while. We just kind of had to just, baby her and keep talking to her. She just realized that she just needs to like move on. So that got locked up, and I think we might have even gotten another one or two. Dean's got a bunch of leads this week. So many now. I'm like, I don't even know like what he's talking about sometimes, but like, because he'll give you more details. But like, yeah, we've been doing pretty well. We're getting leads for people from texting. I'm doing my social media. That's going really well. The biggest hurdle is like fitting it all in all the time. I'm helping Effie do her photoshops now. So those movie posters and stuff I've been working on. And I'm like, I'm learning a lot with Photoshop, so it's good. So that's fun. And then just, yeah.
Not getting paid on that?
I am.
Okay, good.
She insisted. So.
Oh, that's good. Because
Yeah.
again, what I was saying before, you need, like, the expectation should be that we get paid for our work, and we all get paid together.
Yeah, because that's a lot of work. It's like hours of work. Hours.
Yep. And we've talked about this before. There's really no way to do that by like JVing on deals. So it's got to be an exchange of money.
Yeah, she's really good about that. So
good.
Give Effie props. Yeah, so that's been good. Who's next?
Slow it. He's on. Say hi to Slow it.
I already know where Slowick is.
Yeah, he's painting trim.
Oh, I knew it. He's outside. Oh, never mind. I take it back.
Hi. Hey, man.
Hi. Hello, guys.
Where's Ari?
There's
All
Ari.
Coming up to your barn again, just FYI.
We just got done getting a bite, so I'm going to go back to being not on video.
Cool. Anyone that doesn't know, Matt Slowick is in my area. He's over in like Springfield, Western Massachusetts. Loves burrs. So if you've got deals over there, he's been at what, like 20 doors for a while now. So he needs some stuff.
Awesome. All right, we have Ellen. I haven't seen Ellen in a long time. Ellen, do you want to reintroduce yourself? Tell us about any wins, loss, any update on you.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I haven't been able to join many meetings lately, but good to see everybody tonight.
Yeah, there's a couple of things under contract. I'm working a couple of deals with Karina, and we have a single family down the Cape. I think a couple of people know about it and maybe have even looked at it. So we're hoping to get some good news on that in the next few days. We have it under contract for at least a couple of weeks. We went the option route, which I don't think a lot of people think about when sometimes you have a difficult seller or a skittish seller who's nervous, or even a direct to agent where the agent is sort of being a gatekeeper. So never underestimate using an option to purchase to get it under contract, so you get that equitable interest, which of course gives you the legal right to market the contract, but also protects you if somebody tries to go around you and do an end run direct to the seller, or if the seller tries to do it too. So and what they taught us in astro flipping was, don't even worry about getting an exclusive option to purchase. A non-exclusive, Jamil claims, works just as well, because there's some sort of psychological effect on the seller when they enter into that contract with you. And we all know the option to purchase is the flimsiest of all contracts, but it's still technically a contract. And he says somehow he has great success with a non-exclusive option, whereas a lot of other wholesalers won't use that because they don't think it's strong enough. But sellers sort of focus on you and hope that you're going to be the one that sells the property. They hope that you'll be the one that will solve their problem. So if you build up enough rapport, but you still can't quite get them to sign an offer to purchase, or even an exclusive option to purchase, just go with the non-exclusive. It's the least threatening. It's the easiest to get a seller signature on, and it gives you everything you need to go out and do traditional wholesaling, at least in Massachusetts. I'm not sure about New Hampshire. I don't think they recognize the option to purchase as conveying equitable interest. So I would have to double check on that. But yeah, in Massachusetts, never hesitate to go forward with just the non-exclusive option. But going back to the properties, so there's that down the Cape. That's a single family in Hyannis. And then there's another one. We have a multifamily. I'm not sure if we quite have that under contract yet, but we're hopefully going to have that ready to shop soon. And that's I believe that's in Medford. So it's a 2-family, but I think we just found out that it's legally a 3, which would be a great bonus. So, but we'll get back to you with more information on both of those. I think the Hyannis property is already in Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. So feel free to go check that out, but also contact either of us directly for more information. So, but yeah, other than that, it's been a busy summer. Good to see you guys. Seems like April was just last week or last month. So time flies, but looking forward to catching up with everybody. Got to attend a couple of Justin's presentations last month, which was very interesting, especially the one about pad split in Chelmsford. So hoping to get more back in the swing. And like I said, good to see everybody here tonight. So.
Cool. Awesome. Santiago, did you want to say something?
What is it? Win and a loss?
Yeah.
Which one should I start with? A loss. I just had to pay $5,000 for an extension on a property because my note is coming due and I need a 30-day extension, and the owner of the note was like, okay, it's gonna cost you. So I just lost $5,000 today.
That sucks.
But
is it under contract to sell?
No, I'm one of the flips that I have going on. So it's my own fault for being a bonehead and taking too long. So it's definitely a lesson learned, an expensive lesson, but it's part of some of the licks that we have to take sometimes in this business when we aren't operating at our most efficiently possible. A win. John Fothergill and I were doing some of our JV seller calls earlier this week, and we hopped on a call with Armando, this seller of a property, of a potential hybrid deal. And it's funny because in the first 10 minutes of the call, it was going actually very terribly, and I was able to turn it around. And by the end of the call, he's asking me when I should be following up with him because now I've piqued his interest enough to at least continue the conversation versus him hanging up on me.
Cool.
That was a small little win.
Yeah, and regarding the 5,000, you usually get it back. You always do, right? You always get over asking, so
Well, that's the hope.
yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? Anybody else have anything to share? Any wins, any losses, any updates, any deals?
Me.
What?
I have a Subto in Gardner. I'll post it, but Subto and Gardner, very motivated seller. Entry fee is less than 20%. And I think it's like maybe like a low 4% rate. More to come. But Subto and Gardner, if anybody's buying in Gardner, let me know. It's a single family. Possibility of being a 2-family. It's on like 1.5 lots. Able to put in that off-street parking, and I think there's 2 kitchens in there already. She's kind of operating it kind of like a pad split right now, but who knows if that's legal. Again, I'll post more details when I put it all together. And then if you're coming this weekend, come this weekend. Go ahead, Ari.
Oh, you're good. Is Armando on here anymore? I thought I saw him earlier because I think, and Keith, correct me if I'm wrong. Armando had something in Gardner that he was telling us about yesterday, correct?
Was that the same one? I think it was 2 different ones.
No, I don't. It's not one of Suzanne's, but I know we were trying to remember who had something in Gardner.
Not positive if
I'll look back.
This is the one, he was like a potential short-term rental, and then there was the other one that he was talking to you about. I think those were 2 separate properties he was working on, if I'm not mistaken.
So Sharky, Armando might have something up there as well that he needed some assistance with. So I will check back and then get back to you.
Awesome. All right, we have Gordon here. Hey, Gordon. I know last week you had a little bit of a loss with that tree, but any updates on that? Any wins this week? I think Gordon is gone. Well, he's not gone. And Zaya, are you still here? Are you able to unmute? And I think Zaya is gone too. All right. Any
losses?
Couple
cool wins this week. It was actually just a lot of things hit at once. We finally, I don't know how many of you guys remember, but Santiago, our Jacksonville property has sold. Yes, exactly. The stroke guy came back to life. He bought it. He just put $20K down. So we're doing a lease option on that one. I think he's planning on putting another $30K down in 6 months or something like that. So finally, that's been the bane of our existence for a while, and that one's finally coming to fruition. So that is a win. Losses, I know. So one of the properties that we were hoping to get down in Florida, it still may be a deal, but definitely in way worse condition than we thought. It's a mobile home, which in Florida, actually Alex went to it. It was one that we're JVing with Justin on, but there's all sorts of critters and creepy crawlers, and the property just may even be too far gone to do anything with. So they might require that we, but minor loss, a lot of good stuff this week.
Okay. Who do we have next?
Hello, everyone. Giselle here. So I just wanted to briefly share what I'm up to right now, since I have not really been doing much of deals, but I'm trying to I'm hoping to gain a lot of experience with a substantial project that I'm trying to do in my primary residence. I'm still quite nervous about it because I still don't know what it's going to cost me. But that has, put me in the position where I've been having to talk a lot with contractors, with different people about, hopefully getting quotes and what they need for the quotes, how to try to negotiate the project, whether AGC will be doing, taking care of everything, or are we hiring electricians and plumbers individually? So all of that, it's in the works. The very first set of plans have been approved by the city, which that was an experience for me. I've never had to present in the city, and it just at least gets me a little more comfortable with moving forward and doing certain things. But numbers are looking crazy. So if at some point when I am done getting quotes, I have to change my mind as far as how much I'm going to do or do it at all, that would probably be the primary reason. So, but for now, we're really talking to contractors, having people come in and look at the plans and trying to get quotes from them. So I'll probably have some specific questions for people here in the community. But for right now, I think I'm more than anything brainstorming, what do we actually go and buy, windows, rather than having the contractors go purchase them themselves. And looking at things like the siding and all that. And I'm trying to start early, to start educating ourselves onto what are we getting ourselves into? What are we doing? and whatnot. If anybody has any advice, I welcome that and appreciate it.
Giselle, you can reach out to me anytime. And if you want me to have my brother walk the property with you and for you, just reach out to me.
Yes, definitely. I will want to do that.
Where are you based?
So we'll be in contact.
Where are you based?
I'm actually in Lawrence.
Okay.
It was Tim. Yeah, who asked the question?
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else want?
Alicia.
So I think it depends on whether or not, in regards to materials, windows, all that stuff, right? Like, yes, you will save money if you don't get it, if you go get it and you don't have the contractor buy it for you. But then also at the same point in time, do you want to spend all of your time running materials around, running around and picking those materials out? You might want to, you may not want to, but you just have to figure out what's going to be the best use of your time moving forward. So that would be my number one piece of advice on that. You can save money if you do it yourself, because a contractor will typically go ahead and do that. Like, we'll mark it up. Sometimes, depending on who your contractor is, it's good to, like, if you just say, hey, this is what you give me a list of what you need to get this job done. I will call up the supply house. I will order everything. I will pay for everything. And then you can go pick it up, and or I can have it delivered to the site. That's a good way to do it as well, to save you money.
So another option too is negotiating a cost plus 30%, invoicing with your contractor. And that, promotes full transparency of costs of products and his labor. And that's what a lot of general contractors in this area are moving towards. If he's not willing to do it that way, that's fine, but there's advantages to both you and him by doing it that way. So bring it up in conversation.
Okay. Great. And I also like my husband, his schedule is pretty flexible, and he does have like a pretty big pickup truck that I kind of want to see him put some sweat. But I'm sure there will be a lot that he's going to have to do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Giselle, I agree with what both of them said. When it comes to big things, like for example, if you're putting appliances on the second floor, or you're putting something that like is really important to the aesthetic eye, then yeah, pick that out. But I can't tell you how many times I thought I was going to save money by buying the material for the contractor, and I end up buying the wrong thing. And then I got to be the idiot who's driving back and forth between Lowe's and Home Depot. Or like sometimes, like, like Gordon said, like just what's your time worth, right? Like just the material, just the getting the stress off your mind, like knowing, okay, it's a basic window. Unless you want like some type of custom window or something like that, they're just gonna get a basic white window to put in there, make sure it fits, or a nice white 6-panel door. If you want special doors, then you gotta let him know that. So just the more communication you have with them, the better.
My goal is to make sort of informed decisions rather than trying to be cutting corners where I don't even know how to, especially to just like order any materials or anything, and then you get a load of something that is totally wrong. Pretty much the communication. I really want to make sure that it's nice and clear, and at the same time, most likely, if anything goes wrong with the communication, it can more likely be us with the due to the ignorance of how things, how to purchase, how to pick. And that's kind of why I'm trying to make sure that we understand what we're doing, and we understand what's best for us. And of course, that'll come with the with our contractor.
Yeah, my advice, if you don't have a lot of, even 1 or 2 previous experiences renovating or doing anything, yourselves with a home, is focus on the communication part, focus on the protection part of the contract with your GCs, and let them make the decision on materials and design. And then, if something does go wrong, you pin it on them and you're not getting charged for it in the ideal situation, So any good GC or any good, carpenter, builder, electrician, whatever, they're not going to charge you for their mistake. But you have to be focusing on the language of your agreement with them to be able to catch that, So.
Okay.
Yeah, they all had great points. But you know what? Why don't you let your husband take care of that? That's what I would do.
Well, yes.
Your house. I mean, just let him take care of that, and don't be stressed about it. I don't know.
That's and how much is the rehab budget?
I'm sorry?
How much is your rehab budget? Is it the first house you're flipping, by the way?
Personal house.
No.
Cool.
So basically, we've done a lot of renovations, small, medium, nothing major, on our other properties. And some of these have been, bathroom remodel, kitchen, and the last one was a whole first floor was trashed by the tenants that lived there about 14 or 15 years to begin with. was not any good when they moved in. We did that, and we did it. Some of the work we did it ourselves. Some of it we contracted it, but a lot of the material was stuff that we did purchase ourselves. For sure, it is a pain. The multiple times between Home Depot, Lowe's, Jackson Lumber, and a few other places like Floor and Decor, where we wanted to pick out and find specific things. For this project, the goal, the actual project, it's substantial. And once we get the final quotes and get through whether this is finally approved, with everything, it's where we're going to make the final decision. We're doing the whole thing all at once, or because based on the numbers that I've seen so far, it's quite not what I wanted to spend in this house, because I'm going to sit in the house. And it'll
Giselle, you're breaking up a little bit, but I think Gordon was asking like what you're trying to do with the house. Gordon, she has a ranch style property with a finished basement, and she's trying to add a second floor. So she needs to blow out the roof, frame it, and create a second level.
Yeah.
So it's a personal residence. This isn't a fix and flip. This is a personal residence.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Totally different ballgame, really. Right. So then I would definitely defer to what Tim was talking about before in regards to absolutely, like, this is like, have it all written down, clear communication and intentions with the contractor 100% to protect yourself, because that's going to get expensive quickly. Right.
It's going to get expensive.
I thought it was a fix and flip, so I apologize. There's definitely differences. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. Right. So have to deal with whatever we do, especially because it's, it is our residence.
Yeah. Gotcha.
All right.
All right.
I think Dawn, somebody was trying to talk before Gordon. Dawn, was that you?
Yeah. Hi.
All right. What did you?
Just want to share real quick. I've been doing some texting campaigns and chatting with sellers and enjoying myself. It's actually been fun. And then I think I have something pulled together. So I was able to do a mad texting campaign with Z today and kind of get a sanity check on this deal. So, and I believe it's within one of our other Subto members here, Buy Box. And so he's going to probably be my buyer. So now I just need to get this thing locked up. So I'm excited. So hopefully we'll have some good news next week.
Awesome. That's
great.
I hope you get it.
Congrats, Dawn.
So thanks, Z, and thanks, Lily, for a good hour. Was it almost an hour, Lily? And texting like mad with Z earlier. So you guys were very helpful, answered all my questions. So thank you very much.
Is that going to be the first one that you yourself locked up?
Yeah, and it seems like it's going to be a hybrid. Yes. So first Subto hybrid, hopefully. Yep. But he's got 3 properties, so now maybe it'll be 1, 2, 3 real fast.
It's addicting.
It is. Oh my goodness. I've had a wonderful day. I've had a great day.
Good for you. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So anybody else has anything to say?
I do. How's it going, everybody? Shane Evans here, Vermont. So I have a couple things that were, I guess, the wins for this right now is we have the Vermont project with Justin Tumanowski going right now. We've got the 20 cabins project that we're working on. I'm not sure if he brought it into the group a couple weeks ago or not, but we are. It's in the middle of Brandon, Vermont. Janine is also on this as well, and we're looking for PMLs for that. So if anyone knows anyone that wants to be a partner or whatever, we're and again, I don't know if Justin pitched this already, but we are looking for, I think, between 1.2 and 1.5 million for this project. The acquisition is like 525. So we'll probably do it in phases, but it's pretty cool. We got to lock that down. My partner and I, Seth, locked that one down about a month ago. And we're making this project work. So it should be a lot of fun to get that going. And then another win that's going on right now is I started reaching out because I'm trying to network with as many PMLs and just all the different pieces that we're missing. So my partner and I are both closers, and we want to find people who are integrators and lead gen and PMLs. Obviously, everyone wants a PML. So I started reaching out to a bunch of connectors and posting on Facebook. And I ended up getting so many responses, I had to decide to use my time a little more wisely. And so we're running myself and Jesse Stanton and Chanel Stolden are running a weekly Zoom right now, like a connectors series Zoom. And I have, we did it on Tuesday. So that was a lot of fun. We had about 87 people show up to our first Zoom, which was pretty awesome, I felt. And we're going to run that each week. Just to kind of teach people how to monetize their connector avatar, because a lot of people just feel like, hey, look, there's a person I know, but then they just step away. So we want to help, kind of like we've been talking this whole time, the upfront contract. So we're teaching people that, we're teaching people how to be consistent and all those types of things. So that was pretty awesome. And then one of the things that I guess we're talking about a win and a loss, right? Is that what we're doing right now? So a loss right now is not really a loss, but it's kind of a frustrating thing, is with that winery project, we are trying to get funding and we have some soft commitments, but we haven't had any hard commitments. So our timeline is kind of running short. So we're hoping we can get a hard commitment from someone soon. So again, if you know anyone who would be interested in a project like this, the expansion on it is going to be an RV park. It's 15 acres with a trout pond. So we're going to have an RV park on the other side with a campground, as well as the 20 cabins. Plus it's a winery, and it's going to have 3 units upstairs. And Janine, if I missed anything, you can jump in and share some on that.
The property itself is, I think it's spread on like the 15 acres, which is nice. It's beautiful. The cabins is what we ran our numbers off of. And at the purchase price of $545, it is unbelievable, but they do need a lot of work. So we have to put capital into this to get these things running, at the level we would want them to be running at. But, the charm is there. They were built by the Ethan Allen Furniture Company, and it's such a cool project. So please take a look. Let's get some money on this, because it's only $545 to close it. Could be some potential there.
Yeah.
And this is contingent on the funding.
Yeah. I think our first, we're looking at doing it in 2 phases if we need to, and acquire it for about 600 and get it up and get it under contract and kind of figure out get some stuff up and running. And then we're going to be spending the winter time gutting the entire 7,000 square foot building and turning it into 3 units plus the commercial space.
Awesome. In about 2 minutes, we are going to be talking about Morby method, and Z is actually going to run that show. But so in 2 minutes, Ari, you wrote a 5-essay paragraph on the chat. Do you want to give us a quick summary of what that is about? But if you're reading, it's fine.
You make me sound like Sharky. It wasn't that long. It was only because it's condensed in a chat. It wasn't that long. Are you talking about the gas station one?
Yeah, if you can do it in 2 minutes.
I can. So a newer Subto student brought this lead to me, came through as one of his PPC leads, but essentially the guy is unfortunately has terminal cancer and was given about another month. He must be pretty young because his parents are still alive and they work at the gas station. So he's essentially got a gas station with an attached liquor store. They're both super small. I know the gas station is only 2 pumps. And it's Celicia, Courtney, you guys probably know it. It's on Hartford Turnpike, like as you go from Connecticut to Rhode Island. But so it's got a couple apartments above it. and he's also got a single family. So I'm getting the financials, tomorrow morning. He wants 1.2, but he wants to move fast. He's like, I want to do it in a week because then I'm going to spend the rest of my few weeks on a cruise, and that's how I'm going, essentially, is what he wants to do. So I'll get the financials tomorrow. He may be interested in seller financing it, so we're just working out some terms. I had a quick conversation with him, but really the main barrier is going to be the parents, and just they're getting all the money. So yeah, I'll have more information. I just know he wants to move quickly, and so if we're going to do something with this, it's probably going to be a storm of information in the next like week and a half.
Bring it on.
Yep, exactly.
Time is 8 o'clock. Mr. King of the North.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So Eric, I can unmute you. So yeah, so Eric and I got to the thing last week, and we're just kind of chatting about some stuff, and then he mentioned about a couple of deals he's done, and one of them happened to be the Morby method. So I don't know if anybody else has done a Morby method in New England. I know Jeff Hamilton was working on one, but I don't know how that worked out. But it's always been something I've been curious about. I mean, from my understanding, it's just basically, the bank's the first position and the seller's financing in the second position. But how all the intricacies work and stuff like that, I don't know personally. So I asked Eric if he wants to come in and talk about his experience and how what the deal, how it works, legally and paperwork and all that stuff. My apologies, Eric. I don't have like a big introduction like Sharky gives like somebody's autobiography. But if you want to just introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself, your market, kind of what you're doing, and then after that we can just kind of talk about the deal and stuff.
Yeah, you're good, man. Thanks, Z. So I'm in the SoCal market locally. And honestly, shame on me that I haven't been in here more, because this is technically my secondary market. And I know you guys are one of the best crews out there, the New England crew. So hats off to you guys. But I mainly do fix and flips locally because I've got a construction background. Grew up in construction. Right now, my W-2 is in commercial construction. So that's kind of my, where my knowledge base is. So that's kind of what I stuck to. We are buying creative deals as well, nationwide. And we just so happened to find one in Atlanta, and that's what the Morby method was.
Okay, great. So how you guys come up? Actually, so you're in SoCal. Are you in LA or am I somewhere else?
Yeah, and in LA, in the LA market. So that's kind of where I'm focused, and my construction crew is based out of LA as well.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, let's talk a little more after, because we'll talk offline. All right, do you want to talk a little bit like how'd you find the deal? I know a little bit of the background. I think you're working with Abraham Gray, but he's the one that found the deal for you guys, or how did you get from the Subto student?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. We were trying to chase the deal separately, and we didn't know that we were both looking at it. It came from a wholesaler out of Subto as well, Marcus. And the deal had been around for a few months as a cash deal, turned into creative like at month 4. And at that point I was talking to Marcus and said, hey, can I get with the seller? Can I figure out what he needs? I was trying to get him down on a lower seller finance. And I think at the time Abraham was too. And I think this was around the time when Pace had started teaching about Morby method. And it just came in my mind, hey, if he needs the cash, which he did. Long story short, he's a serial entrepreneur. He buys tech companies, builds them up, and then sells them. And he's not really into the real estate side of things, so he wanted to cash out and start another tech company. So I know he needed a lot of cash, so I brought up the Morby method, right? What if I can give you a chunk of money down, 50, 60%? Would you be willing to seller finance the rest? And he said, yeah. I got lucky with that for sure. Where he needed the money, but he wasn't, hurting, right? So he was willing to actually seller financed the deal, his portion of it to me for 0% interest. So I had the lender come in, the hard money loan, come in for the first position to give him his down payment, and then the seller financed the rest of it, about 30% or so. The rest at 0%.
But just a couple I want to touch on. You said at month 4. What does that mean? Like you guys were in.
So the deal had been shopped around for about 3 to 4 months before I came in and talked with Marcus and the seller to convert this to a Morby method deal.
Okay, so it was under contract for 4 months. They couldn't sell with cash. And then
Couldn't
that's
sell
when-
cash, couldn't sell creative, traditional creative, right? With a seller finance deal. He owned it free and clear, right? So
Okay.
that was the biggest thing.
So was this was a single family house?
Single family house over in Decatur, really nice. And it was a house of his that he lived in. He was an accidental landlord, I guess you can say. He rented it out, had the property, tenants moved out, left it a mess. He tried to sell it that way without cleaning it up, so he couldn't sell it on market. And I think that's how Marcus found the deal in the first place. It was an expired listing. So we just got in there at the right time.
When you say like the hard money person was in first position, what is the terms of that? Well, actually, what is the purchase price? You already mentioned the purchase price and stuff, or no?
Purchase price was $750. It was a massive house. I think it was 4,000 square feet, 5-bed, 4-bath.
Nice.
Over in Decatur. It came with existing tenants as well. So he couldn't sell it on market, ended up renting it again. And that's when Marcus came in and found the seller. And we bought it with tenants in place.
What was the
And
renting?
we got lucky with that too.
What was
Lots
the
of
rent-
luck in this thing.
What was it renting for?
We had college kids in there, and total we had 4,000 as the rent, and then we luckily the existing leasing agreement also had an extra 250 on top for landscaping and water.
Okay.
So we were making a little bit extra on the water bill as well.
Okay. So did you guys purchase it for 750, or did you guys purchase it for something else?
We purchased it for 750. What we did was we gave him 520 down. That was what came from the lender. And then he financed us the 230 at 0%.
So when you say 520 down, so that came from a hard money loan?
Yeah.
Like
So
a
that's
loan.
yeah. In hindsight, we probably could have given him less. That way we could have kept some money in our pockets.
Yeah.
First Morby method deal, I was just happy to lock it in at the price that we figured would make sense and make money for us. But yeah, the 520 came from the lender.
So what are the terms for that? So like, I guess tell me about what is the exit strategy? So 520 is coming from the hard money guy. What do they
Yep.
charge you for points and interest? And what are the terms for how long?
Yeah, so the points, it's 1.5, which
Okay.
was I think they still charge 1.5 now. And what it is a 5-1 arm, interest only. That way we could cash flow. For us, we were going to keep it as long-term and see what would happen next. We are right now in the process of either turning it into a pad split or selling it on market, because right now we are seeing some comps that are really nice that we might just exit it at a nice price.
Yeah. So his 230K portion is that 0 down, 0 payments, or is it just 0% interest?
We were trying to do 0 payments. We ended up settling at 400
month?
bucks a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So our loan with Kiavi is our lender for the hard money. That portion is about 2,300, 2,400. Then you got the 400 payment from the seller, gets you to 2,800. With some expenses and a little bit of money for the war chest, you're probably around 3,200, 3,300 all in.
Okay.
And we were getting 4,250.
Okay. So you guys are making about what, 1050 a month?
Yeah, it's a little less than that. It was about 800. But what we're doing now, I think we're leaning towards pad split, but I still got to talk to Abraham about it. And how Abraham got involved was once I got this thing locked in, I knew nobody in Atlanta, right? I've talked to a few people, but I don't have, boots on the ground. I don't have a property manager, none of that. I think I found out that Abraham was chasing the deal too from Marcus, the wholesaler. So I called him. I called him up and said, "Hey, I know you're looking at this deal too." I ended up locking it up at a pretty good price. It's not, it's something different, right? It's the Morby method. It's new. I shared the numbers with him. He thought it was a great idea. And that's how I brought him aboard. He was actually the transaction funding for the deal. So the thing, that's the key piece, right? With the Morby method, you need someone coming in as a gator lender, if you will, with the down payment, which settles the escrow with the hard money lender, right? As long as they see some money come in for the down payment, they'll close that portion on their end. And at that point, the title company or the attorney, this is an attorney state, so we have the attorney take care of it for us. Then they would take Abraham's money out of the deal, and the seller carryback note takes its place.
Okay. I want to just touch on a little something before we get into that details. So,
Yeah.
So when you say 5 ARM, so obviously that's adjustable rate mortgage, but for those of us that don't know what that is, do you want to kind of explain, what that means and what that, in terms of like actual payback and loan, what does that actually mean? Like, what does 5 ARM mean, or 10 ARM?
5-1 arm is what he said. 5-1 arm.
Yeah, 5-1 arm. Yep. Yeah. So ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage. So different from a traditional loan where you've got a fixed rate mortgage, that interest rate does fluctuate. And what the 5-year means versus the 7-year, it's just the term of when that rate adjusts. So for us, it's 5 years. We could have gotten a 7, and then it'd be a 7-year adjusted. So
is it fixed for 5 years, or does it fluctuate between the first and 5 years?
Yeah, this one's fixed for 5.
What's the rate on that?
We actually got it at 5 points or 5%, 5.1, a little bit over 5.1. Yeah. So we got it in a really good time.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So in terms of like what the Morby method is, I know you touched on a little bit. So basically, there is a closing that happens. The Abraham, in your case, for the third party, provides the funds to close the deal with the hard money lender. And then once the deal is closed, the hard money lender, Abraham Greg is paid out, and then there's a note in second position from the seller. Did I articulate that correctly, or is there some other parts?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay.
That's all that. Just 2 transactions.
How much did Abraham Gray bring to the table to close the hard money loan?
It was about $250 when you include the closing costs. So it was $230. $250 was what we needed. So what I did was I came in with 10, he came in with 10. So we each left $10,000 in the deal.
Why is it
in hindsight, I probably could have came in with 0, but I could have structured that a little better.
Why was it the loan so much? I mean, is that what the lender was acquiring, like almost 30% down?
It was the terms that we structured, right? I think at the time we could have done, I think 75%.
Okay.
Loan to value. I think we went with 70% loan to value with this one. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of actual like paperwork and process and legality, so is this actually like a double close, or do you guys just close and then the thing is recorded later? Like, what happens in terms, what's the actual paperwork involved? What does the contract look like? How is there security involved and things like that, like logistically and legally?
Yeah. So with this, it's not technically a double close. And definitely having a great title or attorney on this deal is key. We had a guy that understood creative finance. He didn't understand Morby method, but he was accepting of it when I explained it to him. And so what it is, it's really just a couple of paperworks, right? You've got a set of escrow instructions that tells you what happens with the money that comes in, and another set of another escrow instruction that tells you where the money gets dispersed out once the loan closes. It's actually pretty simple. With everything else is traditional, right? With
Yeah.
the, purchase agreement. Those are the only two documents that we had that was different than a regular purchase.
So are they like extra addendums or something or what?
Yeah, extra addendums. The one thing I did that I changed from what Pace gives us in his documents in the Morby method folder. I think his escrow instruction required the seller to sign off on where the money goes. I talked to our attorney that was involved in the deal, and he said, just take that part off, have you sign it, and we can, move the money where it needs to go. We'd have to check with your state and your attorney, obviously, to figure out if that works for, every state. But, our title attorney said that it worked that way.
How do, so at the closing table, when the checks are dispersed, does the seller's portion get held, does that money get held in escrow? Or does the closing happen, or does the paperwork get recorded later? Basically, what I'm trying to ask is like, what prevents the seller from saying, you know what, I changed my mind, I don't want to actually I don't actually want to carry this second position note. What actually holds them accountable and saying, I got my money, screw you.
Right. Yeah. All the paperwork is signed right off the bat. And we just have a delayed closing. So the seller signs the note, all the paperwork's done, and then the recording just happens later on. So we'll close the first part, which is the lender coming in with the money. The money gets dispersed. Abraham gets their money back out, and then the note, it gets recorded right after, but there's a delay there.
Okay. What risk is there to you for the lender side? Is there any risk at all?
For the lender, as far as the hard money guy?
Yeah, no, for example, is there a risk for the hard money lender saying, hey, there's somebody in second position? Because I've had this personal experience with hard money lender guys where I've had good relationships with them, but I just asked them, hey, you know what, I'm trying to bring some down payment funds. Are you okay with that? They're like, absolutely not. Right. So do they care? Or do you guys tell them, or you guys just record it and see what happens? Or
yeah, for them, they're actually pretty cool about it. The only thing they care about is, as long as you're not recording that note until after our escrow closes or their money settles, they don't care what you do after that, whether you have a second position, third position, whatever. They're cool.
All right. So what did you pay the wholesaler or anything? Or
yeah, we ended up giving Marcus an assignment fee for the deal. We gave him, I think, about 14,000.
14,000, okay. And then you and Avery Gray are 50-50 partners of the deal, I assume?
Yep, we're 50-50 on the deal. What we ended up doing, I bought it in my entity, and then after everything closed, we quick claimed 50% to his entity. So now we're 50-50 on title.
Okay. And who's managing the place? Is it Abraham's company or your company or just a third party?
I'm actually managing it remotely. And we got lucky with that. We're dealing with college kids, and all I had to do was answer texts. And then if there was anything wrong with the property, to say we had an HVAC issue last year, I would just hit up Abraham's operations manager, and then he'll send a guy. He'll take care of it. So anything that's required locally, he'll handle. Anything remotely, I'll handle.
Do you charge a management fee to do that stuff or no?
No, we didn't end up doing it that way. The deal was a little tighter with the management. And for us, we kind of came into it saying, hey, we're not too worried about the cash flow on this. We kind of just wanted the depreciation. And just to, get the Morby method done to say, proof of concept, right? So.
And so is the exit strategy on this one student rentals, or is there another play? Because I know student rentals, they just tear up the place from what I've been told. I don't know if that's the case here or not, but if it's so, how do you keep up with maintenance, or is that the exit strategy you guys are hoping for?
Yeah, it's hard. We're still kind of debating right now, just because it's a nicer neighborhood. We're afraid of the neighbors complaining, right?
Yeah.
With having transient occupancies. Plus, if we did tear into the house and add 5 more bedrooms, and what happens if the city comes in and says we got to tear it all out? That's a lot of extra rehab costs that we don't want to pay for. And right now there's really not a lot of comps, right? Or enough data to say if we can actually make the rent that we think we can with
Gotcha.
with pad split. So
Gotcha. I missed most of the call earlier, but I think it's Alicia. Was it Craig that came in talking about sober living facilities? I don't know. Would that be like a good option, or does he do that area? I missed most of the call earlier.
You said, because I took a picture. Is Craig here? Let me see.
I think he left. But Eric, is that a place? Sober living facilities? Is that an option, or have you guys explored it?
I don't know the regulations with that with sober living.
He
It is
does.
a nicer neighborhood, so I don't know if we will get complaints with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he does Alabama, Florida, Maine, Massachusetts, North Carolina, South Carolina. And
Okay.
it's in property. So he didn't mention.
I know the other problem in some neighborhoods is even if they'll allow it, the neighbors make it so inconvenient that it's just they end up backing away. Like management companies will, if the neighborhood puts up enough of a fight, the management companies will very often be like, it's not a healthy environment for these people to be living in anyway, so we're gonna back out.
Yeah.
The one good side is we're on a 1 acre lot, so the neighbors are a little bit further away. But I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. We could do, not assisted living, but just one before that where you're not dealing with the regulations and the healthcare side of things.
All right,
Put it
last
to bed.
question. Yeah, last question that I have. Did Abraham Gray give you a pair of flip-flops at closing?
What's that again?
Did Abraham Gray give you a pair of flip-flops?
I wish he did. we thought about
yeah, take him to court.
I know, right? He owes me some flip-flops.
All right, Alan, you've got a question. Feel free. Or I think the question was no silent seconds. Is that just a statement, or is that legal stuff, or?
Yeah, no, that was just a comment. Just it's always good practice not to go in there, go do that. No, you asked my question, actually. It was about the assignment fee. I guess Marcus was the wholesaler, and I think you said 14,000. Was he the only wholesaler? Was he essentially the acquisition and the disposition?
Yeah, he was direct.
Okay. The other question would be, was this direct to seller, or were there any agents involved that you had to compensate?
No agents. He's actually licensed. I think he might own the Keegley franchise in Atlanta.
Oh.
So he's licensed himself.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Does he really buy one house a month?
He did, man. He said he stopped.
Crazy.
He stopped now. But apparently in 2022 he did buy one house a month.
That just blows my mind.
It's I think the way he was doing it, he was accumulating it, right? He might have bought like 5 houses, in a day, and it's spread out, one a day, but it's crazy.
How's it working with Abraham Gray? Is he's pretty easy to work with, or is he?
Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy. He definitely has a lot going on, so I try not to bother him as much. But the relationship has been good.
All right. Have you so since doing this, have you guys explored other Moresby methods, or like what's come out of it? I guess like going forward for you guys, have you pretty comfortable doing it now? And
yeah, we got in at a great time, and with the rates skyrocketing, it hasn't really penciled out for single family homes. I've thought about trying to pitch it on multifamily, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that or found a good property to pitch it on. Just single family, the numbers haven't really panned out unless the seller just didn't take a payment for 10 years, right? Which is hard.
yeah.
It's hard to sell.
What's the difference between the seller just saying, hey, like for example, like what's the difference between the seller saying, hey, I will hold 30% of my equity and I'll take 0% interest? Is that not enough for the bank to say, hey, you don't need to bring any money to the table?
I think it might be a paperwork thing with them.
Okay.
They want to see you with skin in the game. I think I've asked that question to another lender before, and the way they explained it to me was, you got to come in with money. It just looks better to the underwriters. And as long as you come in with the money, they know you've got skin in the game, and they're more likely to lend to you and approve the loan.
Okay.
I think that was really the reason why they wouldn't do it with just the seller note.
Okay.
It really depends on the asset and the lender.
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
So,
Eric.
so basically, like if you were upfront with the seller early on and you come up with an agreement on that equity, and you create the partnership well ahead of time and you season that equity, then when you go to refinance that out with the lender, the remaining amount with the lender, they're going to look at it much differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's enough cash flow, there's definitely opportunities there, but again, yeah, like I said, most people want skin in the game, but I think if it's good enough deal, sometimes you can get away with it. Okay, what are you are you doing nationwide? Are you focusing on Southern California? I mean, what are you doing? How can we help you? And what are you looking for and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I chose New England as my secondary market a year and a half ago, because we do want to buy property up here. My wife's family is in southern New Hampshire, so we're looking down in the Hillsborough County area. We love to buy something in your neck of the woods, Z, and
does.
maybe something by Lake Winnipesaukee, but that's kind of a far out dream for us. We want something cash flowing first.
We've got a question from Suzelle. Mortgage method versus cash out refinance and Subto.
I would choose the cash out refi Subto all day, just because of that interest rate. Well, I mean, I guess your refi, your interest rate is pretty bad anyways. I don't know. That's a good question. I think if you can get the seller to come in with 0% or low interest, I'd probably do mortgage method.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? I mean, I think we've touched on all the points. I mean,
Yeah, I got a quick one. Eric, have you pitched this?
Chinese.
Have you pitched this for any of your flips?
What's that?
Have you pitched this for any of your flips?
I haven't, but that's a good idea.
Because I'm thinking that's that's a good way to convince a seller. Hey, you can get some money up front. Let me do some renovation. And then once it's done and it's resold, you're going to get your money within like 60, 90 days or whatever. So I think that'd be a good option too.
Yeah, that's a good idea, especially if they have a smaller loan left, or if they don't have a loan at all and they want some money, as a down payment. Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
So basically, the mortgage method solves. They just need a lot of money up front. Basically, that's kind of what the problem is solving, right?
Yeah. I think first I would go seller finance, low down payment all day. If you can't do that, that's a good second or third option.
Yeah. We've got another question here from Suzelle. The question, what type of agent are you? We have a very strong Asian community, and we just
Chinese.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She's Korean, so
I've gone Korean, Hawaiian, Filipino when I'm darker and have a buzz cut.
Look out,
Mexican when I have my glasses on.
Eric, she's just jealous, so you can ignore her.
Just tell her Chinese excellence. There you go.
There you go.
All right. Eric, what's your background, by the way? Are you doing this full time, or how did you get into real estate?
So I still have a W-2 in commercial construction. I kind of grew up in construction. My dad's a GC for residential side, so I kind of grew up on job sites. And then I went into commercial construction, working for another big company.
Is that what you like to do, or are you trying to get into real estate full time?
I know real estate is definitely something that I'm more passionate about. Construction, I know a lot, and I like it, but with the day to day, I mean, people say 9 to 5, but my job is really 6 to 6, in the commercial construction side of things. So it's a time suck for sure, and takes away time from me and my family and my 2 young boys. So, I'd like to get the real estate going where I can leave the W-2 behind.
How do we get you there?
Just need more deals, more cash flowing deals.
Okay. What are you doing for marketing right now? Are you just reaching out to wholesalers, or are you doing any marketing, or is it just kind of networking?
Yeah, it's mostly direct to agent and other wholesalers. We've thought about putting in some money to do some marketing ourselves, direct to seller. Just haven't. We've been focused locally on the flips and the Airbnb that we haven't had time. We need to definitely utilize the Subto group more and build a team. That's something that we've lacked for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everybody here is a great resource. We've got, I think in New England, we've got like anything you can think of, someone's probably doing it. So yeah, if you need anything from us, feel free to reach out to anybody in the group. There's a vast variety of experience. So definitely happy to help you out. If you find anything in San Diego, do let me know.
Yeah, definitely. Multifamily or single family?
Probably like a duplex or something, but really anything.
Yeah, of course, man.
Okay, go ahead, Santiago. Mr. I'll raise my hand now.
I'm in the classroom, bro. Eric, when is the 5-year arm up?
We got 4 more years. So we bought
Okay.
this last year in April.
Okay. And have you and Abraham spoken about like what your plan is at that point? Or is it kind of like fuck around and find out, we'll talk about this in 4 years?
Yeah, we're actually talking about it now. Because he brought up maybe we should sell it on market because a house nine houses down sold for 1.3 million.
1.8.
We still have, let's call it 750 on it still, because the 400 payments a month isn't really bringing down the principal much. So if we put another 50 to 100 grand into it and sell it for 1.3, I mean, that's not a bad idea. So
yeah.
So I buy it for 50.
You got it.
New England, I need $50,000 to give to Eric, like by tomorrow. Cool. All right. Any other questions for Eric? He's on Pacific time, so he's got all day anyways.
Yeah, I got all day.
Did you have a TC for this one? And if so, who did you use?
No, I actually ended up TCing the whole thing. I learned a lot for sure with how the paperwork works. But I'm trying to get Emily involved, my wife, with TCing stuff. So that takes it off my hands.
Was there anything that is different in the TC paperwork, or like who was asking questions and stuff like that?
The biggest part really was dealing with the hard money and all the paperwork involved with that. That was kind of the biggest portion of it. Everything else was pretty simple. So it was pretty seamless.
Yeah. Title, who did you guys use for the closing attorney? Is that the question you're asking?
Yeah, I can send you guys the contact too. His name is Okorocha Law.
Okay.
I can find his contact and send it to you.
And then what was Abraham charging for? Well, I mean, Abraham probably wasn't charging anything, right?
Yeah, he didn't charge anything, which was awesome. And when I was hoping he wouldn't charge, and he didn't, because I got him 50% of the deal, right? So,
I mean,
damn, you got free Gator money. Let's go. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you both came in with 10%, didn't you? Is that not right? Or
yeah, we both had about 10 grand each into the deal.
Oh, 10 grand each. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find the attorney? Was it? I assume it's Abraham. Great connection, probably.
No, I think it was through Marcus actually, the wholesaler.
Who's Marcus?
He helped him with his assignment deals.
Is Marcus based out of Atlanta?
He's out of Arizona, I think. But he owns the Keegley franchise out of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's in Subto.
Nice. I think I hit on every point, but I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions for Eric, or anything else? Guess not, Eric. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it. That helps a lot. I think a lot of people are talking about Morby method, throwing it around left and right, and I don't think anybody's actually done it. So it's just good to hear someone that's done it, kind of going through it. When are you coming to New England?
November. I'm gonna be here for I'm gonna be in New Hampshire for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, November, that's like 24, 25 or something.
Yeah, I think we're spending a week, bringing the kids and everything.
October, November, okay. You guys spending the week, all right, I don't know, if you're around, just, yeah, feel free to hit me up, we can just kind of, I'll get some lunch, maybe even do something.
Yeah,
If,
yeah, we've got some good friends in Portland, Maine that we might try to see too. So I might be heading up your way.
See, nobody wants to stay in New Hampshire when you got Maine, it's just, that's just how it is.
Awesome, appreciate it, man.
All right, cool.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Also, you're in the Discord, right? You're doing the Discord?
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, if you have any questions or stuff, feel free to just put it in there. There's a bunch of resources in there, I think, as well. So if you're looking for stuff in New Hampshire, just say what you're looking for, and I'm sure someone will get you something fairly quick.
Awesome.
All right, Celicia. Alan, do you have any questions? I think your hand was raised. If not, I'll hand it back to Celicia.
No, I'm all set. Thanks.
Suzanne was asking, how much does Abraham charge for transactional funding? If you know.
Question was answered.
Yeah, Eric already said that he didn't charge anything for the transactional funding.
Yeah, I think he's like a percentage point or less. He's pretty cheap on his transactional funding.
On the transactional side, how long does that actually? I know you're supposed to do like right after the same day, but how long is it actually like good for? I guess. Do people actually close like a day or two later?
Yeah, I mean for the deal we had, his money was really only in there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
The cops outside?
No, it's not a Sharky situation where there's like homeless people outside. I live in a good neighborhood.
Yeah,
cool.
to piggyback on what Eric discussed about the Morgan method, I had a little talk with Alexis Morgan about maybe structuring my business purchase a little differently because the SBA was being a pain in my ass, and I talked to Jason Jodway and Alexis about using Abraham's transactional funding to close on the deal and then refining them out with the SBA. And apparently SBA, is a little bit more lenient on their underwriting once you're already the owner operator. So I looked into that, and it wasn't going to be fast enough to use his like quote unquote transactional funding rate. He was willing to do the deal, but it was going to be a lot more expensive. It's going to add about $80,000 to the upfront cost of the business purchase. And when I started pushing back on my SBA loan rep, telling her, hey, I'm looking at private money lenders to get this closed, and then I'll refi them out with your SBA product. She, immediately started to work a little harder and work for me. And 2 days later, now I've got a term sheet and 45 days away from closing. So I did look into that option of doing it like a Morby method with a business purchase, and it's going to be a little bit different than what you did, Eric, for a deal, but it is possible, and for some deals it may work better than it was going to work for me.
Yeah, no, Tim, that's perfect, because the reason I posed that question was I know that that business that I was talking about, he originally wanted more money up front, a higher down payment, and so wanted to ask about that. I don't expect to pay that price at all for down payment. So I guess my first thought is negotiate a lower down payment, but to back up, there are other options than just walking.
Yeah. But other gator opportunities might work better too. It all depends on the deal, and I think it's important to keep in mind, our lending resources, within this community and within the Gator community, and just keep our options open, keep our minds open.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
If anybody wants to do some like, squirrel lending, not gator lending, I'm more than open.
Explain that, Z.
Well, I mean, you don't have to kill the whole, deal. Just take a little bit, leave some for the
Well,
rest of.
I think the gator lending has gotten a really bad rap over the last few months, and I don't think it was intended to take, 30% of a deal or 50% of a deal, But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really unrealistic, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like, someone will reach out to me, like, "Hey, looking for funding." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always looking for funding." They're like, "Yeah, we can, how much you need?" I'm like, "Well, what do you have available? What kind of products are you selling?" They're like, "Oh, well, it depends on if you want, up to 10, up to 20,000 or plus." I'm like, "Well, what would someone get for 20 grand?" He's like, "Oh, well, we like the money back in, within 60 days. And we'll take $26,000 back." And I'm like, just thinking like on the math, it's like literally 300% return your money. And, I guess if someone needs it, they can, but, it's really worse than like loan sharking, so I don't really personally get it. Again, I'm a charlatan. I don't get the whole like funding EMD and, doing, like Gator stuff and the transactional lending and things. I don't get that stuff personally. But I just think it's a very like predatory, and it's basically what happens is like now no one actually wants to lend like for a decent return, and everybody just like, "Hey, I'll give you 5,000, give me 25,000 next week," and it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense, it's just I don't understand it personally. But again, I'm a charlatan.
Z, forget about decent returns. Even when you're offering really good returns, like 15% return is a solid return.
Yeah.
And they're just looking at it like it's trash. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can get it, great, but you'll never get it from me. But again, that's whatever people want. It's again people's money, but I just think
That's why you have to go outside of the Subto network. Okay, Subto is great for Subto stuff, but you really need to like share the wealth with people outside of your network. Outside of your network, everybody's looking at 4.2%. Get out of here. Well, 6% with the real estate market. Get out. I mean, not that with the what's the stock market? Stock market. So if you can offer 10, 12, and 15%, that's insane. But I feel like a lot of people get real lazy and they're like, "Oh yeah, Subto is going to give me everything I need and then some. I just have to make one Facebook post, send one text message, and then the world's going to fall in my lap." And the answer is no, we know too much here. We're too spoiled here. Go outside your network. There are people beyond Subto. Leverage that. You're so silly if you want to be lazy in here. It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, even besides that, I think some people don't understand what being a Gator entails. You're literally a bank, and that's literally the hardest position out of all the positions because you've got to trust the person, number one. Then you got to underwrite the deal better than they do, and then you have to know your numbers better than they do, right? You literally have to know everything better than the other person does.
It's more about the risk management than anything.
Yeah, exactly, right. And me personally, I've been seeing a lot of horror stories come through, like the Facebook page and stuff like that. I don't want to get into it too much, but there's a lot of risk, and people just think, "Hey, I'm going to lend $1,000 and make 20 grand on this in 24 hours," and it's just not realistic.
Yeah, so with a business purchase I'm in the middle of now, I had an issue where the SBA required a minimum of 5% equity injection, and I was like, well, I've got the money, but it's sitting in a self-directed IRA. And will you allow that to be used in a creative way? And they're like, well, I don't know. So I gave them the bank statement so that they could track it in the future. And they wouldn't give me a hard answer of whether they would allow me to use it the way I want to use it. And so a couple weeks went by, and then my loan rep was like, well, you really got to get these funds seasoned for 60 days and all this stuff. And I was like, Jesus Christ, can you just give me an answer, of whether I can use it in this way? And they're like, well, I'm going to have to talk to my legal team and this and that. And so I went back to the seller, and knowing that he was taking a crap ton of money from the business the last 2 years, because he told me, and I was like, hey, I know you're putting all this money into a 5% CD right now. What if I can do you a lot better? And you just, give me 80,000 as my 5%. We'll let it season in this account, and I will basically loan you, quote unquote, the 80,000 back into your LLC from my self-directed IRA. So it's fully secured. It's 80,000 for 80,000. I just can't transfer this 80,000 directly to, the account that I need it to be in. And I'm going to pay you $12,000 to hold that money in my account over 60 days. So the return was insane. And even he was like, nah, I don't know. Seems kind of risky, because he didn't understand it. It's really difficult to kind of pitch these lending opportunities to people who don't, aren't accustomed to creative finance. And but that was a really great opportunity for somebody, to just exchange $80,000 with me.
Yeah.
And I got turned down.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think kind of spoils people. But again, if you can get it, and again, I'm not a communist. If you can get it, get it. Get it, boo. Is what they say.
I think the better way to look at Gator lending is it's essentially a JV situation. It's really geared towards newbies who really have no other opportunity to make the deal happen. Even if they find the deal and they get it under contract, they just can't get the deal done without getting the money from somewhere. And you're really not borrowing it so much as you're JVing with somebody and giving up a huge piece of the equity, like you said. So it's absolutely not for the more experienced investor that, could and should be able to figure out a way around it without going through Gator. But it's really essential for the newbie, and probably well worth it, just like it would be to call in a more experienced partner or JV partner for any thing that they don't know how to do themselves to get a deal across the finish line. So that's probably the best way for all parties to look at it. It's essentially a JV situation, at least until closing. And liability wise, it's arguable that, especially in a creative deal, that it goes beyond the closing, even if the documents say otherwise. But that's essentially what it is. And that's the only way I agree with you, Z, that it could be justified if a newbie really needs to partner with somebody for whatever reason, and money, of course, is one of those reasons. That's what it's there for, and that's where it does serve its purpose. And maybe you can justify the profit that the partner's making.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everything comes out of like if you're doing a wholesale, that's basically where it's coming out of. But like, again, maybe it's just different for me. But like when people are locking up contracts, how much EMD are people actually putting down? I don't put anything more than 1,000. And even if I do, I just have the title company fund it for me. I never actually put the money down. Are people actually putting EMD of like 30 grand down, 40 grand down or something?
Yeah, some of the Gators are putting bigger chunks down, bigger amounts down, so they're getting more return. But yeah, on small EMD, even when it's a high percentage return, it's still not that much money. But the sweet spot is, and again, it's building up a relationship with a repeat newbie wholesaler who shows promise at putting deals under contract. That's where the lender, the JV partner, becomes more comfortable advancing larger chunks. But for the newbie, it's also, like you said, another opportunity to get a deal underwritten by an experienced investor who sometimes will do them a favor by saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And you shouldn't do it either.
Yeah.
No, I guess what I'm asking is like, are people putting down like I just bought the house in Andover for $650,000. I could have put down $1,000, but I put down $5,000.
Yeah.
But
So
somebody put down 40 grand.
So I agree with Z on that one. Like, Alan, I was going to ask you before, why is anyone putting down 30 grand or anything close to those numbers on, I mean, really on anything? I guess to justify that, like, I would think it would have to be some massive project.
Z, here's basically how it would work for you in your Andover deal. Let's say, for example, you were planning on wholesaling that house and not flexing and flipping it like you're doing, right? So you don't have $5,000, so you get a gator to give you that $5,000, and your wholesale fee is going to be 20. And they're like, all right, well, I want 4 out of that 20. So they're lending you 5,000 to get 9,000 back.
Right, and don't forget, in Massachusetts, you put it under contract, the offer to purchase, and it's a small EMD, but then we go to the purchase and sale, it's a bigger chunk. And if you don't have that either, then you want to have that relationship with the gator, because most gators will not advance that amount. And I think in most states, there isn't the two-tier system anyway. I think you go right to purchase and sale in most states, but whatever the larger amount is, you have to have a relationship with the gator for him to advance, more than, say, the $1,000 to $5,000 initial EMD.
Hey, sorry guys, I gotta leave already. I did make you host. So see you guys. Thank you.
Later, Z. Yeah, and I do. So Mark, I'm seeing your comments. I'm not focused in those areas that either they're much higher property values or potentially more, like sellers really are looking for EMD as a big motivator. It's kind of like, as long as it's enough to show some, they're not looking at EMD necessarily as being like this EMD is higher than that EMD, so I'm going to do the deal with one or the other. But yeah, it may also be pretty market dependent, and depending on what you want to do with it and what kind of capital you have. Alicia, what else you got? I know we only have 9 minutes, but
Nothing. Anybody else have questions? Anything? Suggestions? Get help? Anybody?
I don't think so. Any announcements?
Can we just review? So we have Rhode Island meetup is when?
We had one.
Sorry, I was thinking the 14th. Was it the 14th? My bad.
Rhode Island meetup was last week on Tuesday. I know the timing it wasn't like the best, but we were supposed to go to, I actually went there, to the Randolph to Boston meetup it was the 22nd.
Yeah.
And yeah, Marsha was there, Mari was there, and then John, the new guy, was there too. Made some great connections with people there, and yeah, but yeah, I mean, because I didn't even want to go, but I had to show up. So
yeah,
I'm gonna think the problem is that I work on weekends, but I am gonna change to weekends, not weekdays, because nobody can actually do the weekdays.
What tofu did you bring home from that meetup?
Well, the host, the speaker, he has done over 1,000. He has over 1,000 units, so he's focusing on commercial now and sober living also, or assisted living. And I asked for the contact information, and then I forgot to grab it. So that was the only thing. But yeah, I met some agents, some lenders too, some people that were brand new and wanted to be lenders. Yeah, that was about it, but it was nothing compared to Rhode Island's meetup or our meetups. It was lame. Problems, because it's Boston, so I'm like, I'm thinking Santiago, John, their meetups are like, so I was thinking, I was gonna meet a lot of people, but no, that wasn't a lot. Not a lot of people were there, but it was fun. I liked it. Met some new people, and yeah, ready to work with them actually.
If you have good contacts, we always want them, right? So good lenders, good attorneys, good wholesalers, good deals. We want all of that stuff. And going forward, we talk a lot about, and by we, I mean me, myself, and I, we need to be better about networking with other real estate groups out there, because if we are introducing ourselves as the golden standard for creative transactions, then people need to know who we are. They're not just gonna read the minds of everybody and know who we are. We have to get a little loud with it. So I'm happy to see you going to other people meetups. I'm happy to see you represent us. And going further, I want to see you on their stages presenting about Subto things.
Okay, yeah, and yeah,
I will help you. I have it in my head that I'd love to have like a slide deck that you guys get to use and share and go around and present on whatever, portion of it that you like, razzle dazzle them. And then next year when we do Creative Elite again, that we get to interview those people, like the speaker who has 1,000 doors underneath his belt, bring him in and let them talk. Because one of the cool things that Pace did was going around to all these meetups and speaking with them, Avengers and whatever other names are out there. Yes, it is about the people that are in the room, but it's also even more so the people that are on that stage rubbing shoulders with him. So he's made a lot of cool friends, the Hermosis, Fleshman, a whole bunch of people, but that's what we're trying to emulate, is making really strong strategic connections with others in our area. Yeah. Santiago, you got the Boston meetup coming up September 9th, right? Eventbrite to come.
Santiago.
Did you unmute for the silence? What is this?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Is there another Santiago?
I'm just ready to say goodnight.
¿Cómo te llamas? Okay.
It's on the 9th.
My Spanish is getting a little better.
I see
Anyway,
that. You're talking with Philly a lot.
I do. Google Translate has my butt, but at the same time, I'm so stressed out thinking that they do rental grade and I have them in Andover trying to do something nice. And I'm freaking out, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yep. And then I wanted Magno to speak Spanish to them, and he only goes one way. He can understand Spanish, but he can't speak it. He can only speak Portuguese.
You speak
lots of body language. In Korea, we throw up the X sign when we don't like it. We're just like, no, no, no. So
Mateos in Spanish probably sounds like me in Portuguese. I'm like, you do too much mixing of the language. It's like it just sounds bad.
I agree.
It's like I had a stroke.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, it'll be a weekend, but this weekend is really fun. If you guys want to come out to the Andover Squad 100, I want everybody who's interested in being there. Again, I did my first flip. I was so stressed out about it. It just like Giselle was talking about, like buying a window becomes like 50,000 decisions in one. And then you have to timeline out your decision where you're like, order this because it takes 5 weeks to get here. And then I got to frame it and then I got to hang it. And then I got to do this, that, and the other. And it's a mess. And which thing comes first? Do you paint the walls? Do you paint the ceiling? Do you install the floor? Do you install the baseboards? Who knows? So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of decisions to be made. I want to be able to give you guys some money and make things fun. I want you to participate in it. There's money to go around. So let's do the damn thing. But Andover is, just call me, 732-351-3700.
No.
I will post it.
Yes. A, post it. B, don't call her because then she'll first of all, she never picks up. She'll send because I don't pick up anyway. So put it in Discord. In Discord. I'm saving your bot a bunch of work.
Yeah.
Are you gonna give us directions on how to get to Andover?
No, aren't you close by? You are close by. I know where you live. I can find it. Reading? Aren't you Andover? You are Andover. You are Andover, North Andover.
Yeah, he's there.
Okay, all information on Andover is going to be in Discord. Suzanne will post
Discord always. I am training you to come to Discord because that's where Subto New England is. A lot of other people have Facebook groups, but Facebook is a no-no because it takes you away from Discord. And all the new people are automatically dropped into Discord. We need to be in Discord. It's an acquired taste. Deal with it, learn it. It's a great chatting feature. And Google anything that you need to Google or pull a friend and have them help you. So Andover is this weekend. I'm there almost every day. If you would like a free mattress, come through.
not let that down.
Yeah.
Also, I'm doing one last plead about the Acorns fundraiser because I'm freaking excited. I cannot believe I think we're at $6,000 right now, and I'm amazed. I was hoping for 1,200. Pretty sure we're at $6,000, and my not so secret goal anymore is, don't give me that look, Suzanne, is 10K. So
I'm just saying, follow through matters. You signing up is just half the battle. You have to qualify for it, which means you actually have to invest. So whoever is in charge of yours, whoever account you signed up under, pester them and ask them, am I verified yet? Have I actually qualified it for it? Because it'll tell you who has signed up and who's actually checked marked.
yes, and we will pester you. Don't you worry. Marsha, I will send you, or actually, no, it's in Discord. I'll tag you in that link, but it's Courtney's link. So it's, yes, I'll tag you in that one. If anyone else is interested, I'm sure you've seen it. It's on Discord. I've posted like 15 million times. So the only link that's available should be Courtney's. We good?
Ari, I signed up and then I got a link. So I'm sending it to everybody, almost everybody in my contact, because, you know, the more money we get, the better for us, right?
Delicia, only the first 5 people qualify. If you sign up more than 5, then it's wasted because you can only hit that bonus once. So you want to manage when you get in there, you can say invite history, and then check out how many people are underneath yours. I right now have 7 people, which is fine, because if somebody doesn't qualify for whatever reason, we don't lose out entirely. So it's a very much a team sport, just like real estate is. If this is very free, easy money, and we can have really nice meetups. Meetups do cost money. We pay for the venue. We pay for things along the way. Apart from Creative Elite, all of our other meetups have always been free because we want a very, very low barrier to entry. We want everybody to come. Everybody kind of starts from nothing. So if we can remove any sort of friction to a meetup, we will do that, which means we pay for things out of our own pockets at times. So having a little bit of a slush fund would be really nice to have.
Yeah.
We just have more nice things.
I think I have 3 people that have said yes, so they're interested. So, you know, and then I don't know, we'll go from there.
Yeah, cool.
It's money for
5.
I know it's 5.
And 7 doesn't matter. 5 is the magic number.
Yeah, I know that.
Cool. All right, it's 9:01. Let's go do something.
Right.
Funny.
Thank you guys for showing up. That's a very good night. Bye.